Broke up. I handled it real mature, but Mr. J was super broke up about it.
Last year, we talked quite a bit about Margot Robbie being the executive producer of the Barbie movie. She pitched and produced the Barbie movie under the banner of Lucky Chap Entertainment. Lucky Chap is the production company that Margot Robbie founded with her husband and Sophia Kerr and Josie McNamara. Starting with I, Tonya in 2017, Margot Robbie has taken the helm in pitching and producing projects. Most of them have ended up starring her, but not all of them. One film that Margot Robbie produced but didn't act in was Emerald Fennell's Promising Young Woman. Lucky Chap's mission has been to try to promote female stories from female storytellers, and thereby to bridge the gap of gender inequality in the film industry, employing female directors, screenwriters, and producers. Today we're going to talk about one of the projects that Margot Robbie produced and starred in. That is, of course, Birds of Prey, subtitle added later, and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn.
There are two ways that diamond's coming out of you. This way or this way.
The DC Extended Universe has had several fits and starts over the last few years. Their attempts to bring superheroes together, like the Justice League, Aquaman, and Batman vs. Superman, have been controversial and often unpopular. However, a bright spot in the DC Extended Universe has been Harley Quinn. Introduced first in the 2016 fairly unpopular version of Suicide Squad, directed by David Ayer, where Jared Leto's obnoxious Joker performance and off-screen antics seemed to have distracted from everything else. Margot Robbie stood out as Joker's more sympathetic girlfriend, Harley Quinn. After Suicide Squad flopped, Warner Brothers wanted to keep working with Margot Robbie, who decided to pitch a standalone Harley Quinn film. Non-standalone because she wanted to bring in a team of friends.
While I was researching Harley, of course, I was devouring the comics, became kind of obsessed with them. At some point, I stopped even reading just Harley comics because I just was really enjoying the comics. So that sort of rabbit hole led me to the Birds of Prey comics, and it seemed like a good platform for a female ensemble.
DC had several Harley Quinn projects in development, but Margot Robbie put her weight behind Birds of Prey, which she wanted to produce and hire a female screenwriter and director. She brought in Kristina Hodson and Kathy Yan, respectively, a young promising screenwriter and director, for Margot Robbie to produce the film around. Kristina Hodson, who's now working with James Gunn on the rest of the DC Extended Universe, had her official screenwriting debut with Shut-In, a 2016 psychological thriller that she wrote and sold. Kathy Yan's directorial debut, Dead Pigs, came out just 2 years before Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey stars Mary Winstead, Journey Smollett-Bell, Rosie Perez, Ella J. Basco, and Ewan McGregor as the villain Black Mask.
It was time for Gotham to meet the new Harley Quinn. So I really put myself out there.
In Birds of Prey, Harley Quinn appears after breaking up with the Joker. Throughout the film, her self-doubt about whether she can stand on her own, stand alone you might say, is a recurring joke and plot point. Without the protection and toxic connection to the Joker, or Mr. J as she calls him the entire time.
That's when I met him, Mr. J.
All the people in Gotham who Harley Quinn has slighted, pranked, or hurt are now free to exact their revenge on her for whatever their grievance is. Of course, nobody has more grievances than Ewan McGregor's Black Mask.
It's not a party without a little drama, am I right? Come on, turn it up. Shots on the house.
Black Mask, real name Roman Sionis, is a theatrical, narcissistic, self-obsessed crime boss.
Go show those little bitches you don't mess with Roman Sionis!
He's on the brink of being the biggest crime boss in all of Gotham. And funny enough, the actual action of the film revolves around his whole deal, his desire to get the Bertinelli diamond and all of the riches of Gotham's former crime family in charge, the relationship he has with his new driver, the singer Black Canary, who gets shoved into being his driver because Harley breaks his old driver's legs. Rosie Perez is the cynical detective Renee Montoya, who's trying to build a case against Sionis, and the vigilante named the Huntress, who's trying to hunt down her family's diamond and kill the killers of the Bertinelli family, played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
They call me
The crossbow killer.
They call me.
The crossbow killer?
They call me Huntress.
And Cassandra Cain, the young pickpocket who has accidentally swallowed the diamond everyone wants. Harley Quinn is incidental to all of this, except that she's first up on the Black Mask list because of a long list of grievances.
I'm building a better...
Seriously, you don't have to. Really? You're building a criminal empire because Daddy kicked you out of Janus Court, and you think this is a big fuck you, but in actuality, it's a very misguided attempt to win back his respect. I get it. You're really not as complicated as you think.
And because she's incidental, she has the opportunity to prove that she can stand on her own. Birds of Prey is interesting because it's more of a personal breakup and emancipation movie than your regular comic book hero or I guess anti-hero movie, which takes place largely in Harley Quinn's head and around her trademark narration, which also leaves plenty of room for bits of comedy, which honestly, Birds of Prey wouldn't have worked without.
Come again?
I said I can't.
One more time.
I can't give it to you.
Why not? Because I ate it, okay?
It's stylized the way that feels true to being a comic book movie, and also feels true to the theatrical and over-the-top Harley Quinn character. The Black Mask is clearly a stand-in for the character of the Joker, a weaker but just as theatrical figure for Harley to overcome. At the end of the film, as the three new friends, Black Canary, Renee Montoya, and the Hunter split off into the Birds of Prey, a vigilante team of all-women crime fighters, Harley Quinn still stands alone, well, with Cassandra as a new friend and sidekick, and this makes it feel more organic and less like an all-female-led superhero movie.
She's got rage issues.
I don't have rage issues!
You know,
Psychologically speaking, vengeance rarely brings the catharsis we hope for.
Yeah.
are we ready? Bad guys, just outside.
Tonight's show is brought to you by Yabiga, a Balkan Rakia spirit. Go to yabiga.com to order a bottle tonight. Anyway, before I introduce the panel, please like this video and subscribe to the Movie Night Extravaganza YouTube channel. Hit that bell to get notified whenever we're streaming. Also, we are now monetized, so if you have any pressing questions during this live stream, send us a super chat, which helps me keep the show running, and which I am obligated by international law, human rights law, to answer. We also have a Patreon, patreon.com/movie night extra. All of our after parties are on there forever. We also have a new Discord and a Letterboxd HQ account, so those are two more places to follow along with us. Links are in the description. Okay, let me introduce the panel. Conan Neutron, host of Protonic Reversal, co-host of Movie Night Extravaganza, and frontman for Conan Neutron and the Secret Friends, neutronfriends.bandcamp.com. Conan Neutron and the Secret Friends has a new split LP with Lung, Adult Prom, available now on Bandcamp. Kristina Oakes is streaming on Twitch at Cosmopolitics, twitch.tv/Cosmopolitics. Also recently joined YouTube, she's on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Cosmopolitics. Send her some subs on Twitch, and send her a coffee. Jay Andrew World, illustrator, book cover artist, artist for Give Them an Argument, co-host for Movie Night Extravaganza, and Bad Takes. McKenzie Wilkes is the co-host of the Criterion Connection podcast and the Austin Danger podcast. I, of course, am your host, Mr. F. That's right, Forrest Miller, and I'm going to be letting everyone fight out their grievances against me tonight. If you have a grievance, send me a super chat.
I'm loving the Dune eyes for that one. McKenzie, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's great to have you.
Yes. So,
Let me start off this by saying yes, I'm dressed as Harley, and second of all,
Yeah, let's see it. Let's see it. Let's see the full.
Let's
cosplay.
see there. We'll solo lay out
Go
this.
full
All right, there we
screen.
go.
Yeah.
Okay. there we go.
yeah, let's go.
You got the mallet? Jesus, I did that.
I mean, I also let me. The mallet is plastic, but I'm gonna get the real one once I make more money. But this is the authentic.
You got multiple mallets. Okay.
This is the authentic baseball
A lot
bat.
of weaponry.
It's made of
Wow.
wood. It's the real bat, real replica of the baseball bat. So I can actually use this as a weapon, like that can knock people out.
That is like
All
a
right.
wall sword to some people.
Yeah. So
That is a serious business, to put it bluntly.
You should have like, I don't know, like shotgunned a Red Bull right before coming on, so you could do the really, really fast talking that she does whenever she gets stressed.
Or a line of Coke. I mean, that would work too.
Or a breakfast sandwich.
yeah,
Yeah,
I had
that
that
also
earlier.
worked, yeah.
So
there you go. Oh,
I
you're-
also
you
got
are
the
being
confetti.
method.
Yeah, I also got the confetti jacket, so that's for the after party.
Nice. Been a while. So we were talking about putting this on the dock like last year, and
Yeah, right for my birthday. I was very
Right.
disappointed that we didn't get to it. We did Interstellar
Yeah,
instead.
well, the story behind that is that I was supposed to get Galaxara on, who was featured on the soundtrack, and then who sang with Sweetie, but COVID kind of took a dive with her career, so she's kind of focused on that, and I understand that. So, but it would have been cool to have her on as an addition too. But
Yeah, you're almost there with talking fast, I guess.
I do talk fast. What are you talking about?
But it worked out just fine because we got McKenzie on for this.
Hello,
Exactly.
hello. I did. Yeah, I'm not on the soundtrack and I'm not qualified, but I am here.
I feel like the bar for being qualified is real low on the show. It's just like,
Yeah,
I am a
have you
woman
seen-
of loving Harley Quinn experience. And I feel like that's what
See,
I
Yeah.
that's more qualified than sometimes it's just like, have you seen a movie before? Good, come on in.
Hey, you kid, you ever seen a movie? Get over here. Yeah, it is a very, I wouldn't call it a stringent criteria, but it's definitely a unique criteria. Like I think there's some people that it wouldn't work at all.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
this is
Those are the people that have never seen a movie.
right, exactly. There we go.
Well, why do you want
Uncle
on the show?
The bar is low. They let me come on.
but
Uncle Ron, you are
multiple
very
times.
qualified. You are wonderful.
We love having you on.
Stop.
You let a conversation go on about Nebraska for like 2 hours. So it worked.
now was for some who don't, probably a lot of people know this, is that this was probably the last movie a lot of people saw before COVID really took a dive, like took a hit and shut down like movie
Right.
theaters and everything. And I remember it was my first cosplay time, like first time ever cosplaying as Harley. And I remember a few weeks later, I got something in the mail.
Was it
It
Jared
was a-
Leto?
It was a pudding choker. And quite a few of us Harley cosplayers got like something in the mail. And I'm like, did Warner Brothers do like Margot Robbie like
Whoa.
see our Instagram posts about our cosplays? Because I looked at my bank account, nothing was taken out of Amazon. Someone had to have found my address and sent me a gift for cosplaying Harley. Yeah, I still have it. It's weird. I'm like, okay.
Well, there's also some weird guys on the internet. I mean, who knows?
Well,
Well, it wasn't. I mean, considering it was a
you're
Birds of Prey
weird guys in the
cosplay.
internet.
Considering it was Birds of Prey
Never heard of them.
cosplay, I doubt men were searching for those cosplays, considering they hate Birds of Prey.
I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean,
not
if
this
you look
man.
at, like,
This man
the-
loves it.
No, not these
difference
men.
between like her
Hashtag not all men. Thank
her
you.
costuming in this is like a movie that she kind of put together, and they're costuming in like the other Harley Quinn movies that she isn't necessarily like in creative control over.
Yeah.
I feel like this movie she's definitely like more covered. Like everybody's kind of more covered than when they have a male director doing male gaze, I guess, throughout the production process.
But don't worry, guys. David Ayer reassures us they're still going to be sexualizing Margot, but more Jared Leto in the Ayer cut.
Yeah, exactly. I think everybody
get a
wanted.
cut now. Everyone gets a little like,
Yeah.
I would love a crack at a couple movies like the Matt Reeves, the Batman. I'd have that down to a tight 90.
This is the Conan Neutron cut. They're like, who's Conan Neutron? They're like, look, all right, we're giving
Just some guy.
giving anyone do a cut, okay? This is
Some people
He has a
thought
loud
that
jacket and an authoritative voice. We just let him do a cut of the film.
Some people thought this movie was too long, though. I'm like, what do you mean it was too long? It was under 2 hours.
It moves along really quickly though. Like it feels like a 90-minute movie to me. Like and that's something that I noted
because of Harley's narration of the movie.
Yeah, it moves right along, and it's amazing to me, Kristina. You mentioned the Discord when we did the watch party that you saw it in the theater because I bet it would have killed in the theater.
It was so great
because it's so funny. It's a funny movie. And I like many people saw it on HBO Max, which of course is now Max, the one to watch. And
it was at one point.
Until they named it Max.
Yeah. It's like let's get rid of the thing that the part of the name that people like and then associate with quality things, and let's use the other one that was associated with skin
not
flicks back in
popular
the day.
movies at 12 a.m. in the morning. Anyway,
It's like HBO is too premium for the amount of people that have HBO Max now. They're like, we can't let like the plebes kind of feel like they all got HBO.
But yeah, like this was, if I remember correctly, one of the first films that they did kind of most of the release was direct to streaming. It was this and Wonder Woman 1984.
I have not watched, by the way. Congratulate me on.
You're not missing much.
You ain't missing much. The colors look good. You'd probably dig that aspect. of it.
No, I like the mise en scene of what I've seen from it, and I love
Pedro
watching...
Pascal, innocent.
Yes, he's always great, but like
he'd be better.
Yeah. I'm just like, I can't even though they got the George Perez costume, they got the golden armor from the George Perez issues, and they're just like, nice.
Skip
but
it.
no,
Skip it. Stream it or skip it. Skip it. But like, I think this movie, it kind of fell through the cracks, right? Because people didn't know what was going on to a certain degree.
They're like, is this a Harley movie? Oh, this is like a knockoff of like Pirates of the Caribbean and Deadpool, and women can't have successful R-rated comedies. I mean, Bridesmaids was sure a success, but what do I know?
Right. Well, that one doesn't support our arguments. We don't acknowledge that one.
And also, how is this movie rated R? Like
bloody violence.
It's probably the bones that bend in different directions.
It's maybe a little bit more
violent. And the F-bombs.
Yeah,
the F-bombs probably too.
I like how they changed it to shits in the trailer. But not two fucks. I'm like, you can't say fuck on a trailer anymore. Like, what happened? Really? Yeah. No one gives two shits who we are beyond that. Like, I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, it's the F-bomb in the movie though. Like, what? What happened?
I feel like those would be an equal footing for, the devil entering the children's ears when they hear it. But I don't know, maybe not.
Well, they let you say one fuck per season on like TV 14 stuff now.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Or just one F-bomb in like PG-13 general, like, or even like a PG film. Like you get one.
I remember Walking Dead. They had they let I think they let Rick say it, but Walking Dead they finally let them say fuck in one episode. So they had like a big dramatic moment at the end of one of the things, and he's like, I think it was Negan that actually got to say it, but he's like, I don't give a fuck. And then you're like, oh, good, look at this guy. This show is really maxing out.
So it's so edgy. It definitely hasn't jumped the shark at least 5 times. Yeah.
I didn't think I realized. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, McKenzie, please. I was going to bring you in.
I don't think I realized that it was rated R, because I'm curious if it maybe would have done better, quote unquote, if it was rated PG-13, because it could have played the teen girls a bit more. But
it's always Sunny in Philadelphia addressed this issue where no one's going to rated R movies because most likely people are just pirating them.
MPAA versus Sunny in Philadelphia. I remember that case very well. Went to the Supreme Court, right? If I remember
yes.
I mean, I don't know. The whole thing was
Marta wanted to be like an R-rated like comedy for women. Like she didn't want this to be like, and this is the problem that I had when I saw the first Suicide Squad movies. That's like my ex and I. We got all dressed up and we went, and like so many guys were like either on their phones within 2 minutes or like looking up every time there was a shot of Margot Robbie's tits or ass or whatever. And I'm like, I see what's happening here. She's eye candy. And then I was telling my ex, and he's like, did you notice that she's like eye candy in this? I'm like, not taken seriously. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, I'm hoping there might be another movie that comes out eventually with like her, because a lot of people said that a lot of people love Margot Robbie as Harley. And I feel like none of this would have worked out without Margot's involvement, like as the actress and as like a producer and having creative control over that character. Because you could tell she actually really loves playing Harley and really giving the fans what they want.
And she pitched it like she's in the same way that she pitched, like the Barbie movie. Not to like compare. I mean, I feel like that's kind of her angel and her demon.
Well, without Birds of Prey, there wouldn't be a Barbie movie.
But she was able to actually go and pitch this, and they had a bunch of different projects, I guess, that they were working on.
Yeah,
that were all like different Harley Quinn projects.
Gotham City Sirens, a Joker and Harley movie. Which
she threw her weight behind this one, which she like came up with on her own. Like she was the one that came up with the idea to do it as Birds of Prey, because she was, I guess, Like I have a clip of her talking about it,
that's actually interesting because people compare it to Deadpool for obvious reasons. But Ryan Reynolds' journey towards getting Deadpool the way you want it on the whatever you think about the character or the movie is like there's a mirror to that. That it's people were like, what? No, you can't do an R-rated superhero movie. Like, no way. And
then they're like, you can't do an R-rated superhero movie with women.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So then it just became sexist, right? Absolutely.
So this is her talking about pitching it or like coming up with the idea.
Okay, cool.
I started putting together a pitch for Birds of Prey when we were still shooting Suicide Squad. And I knew for quite some time how there was just a real gap in the market for a female ensemble action film. And I love action films, and I think there's a misconception perhaps subconsciously for people that, well, action films are for dudes, girls don't really like them, which is just not true. I love them. I know heaps of other women who love them, but at the end of the day, a good story, a good cast, a good characters, universal despite gender. So I couldn't understand why there weren't more. I loved movies like the Cameron Diaz, Drew Barrymore, Lucy Liu, Charlie's Angels growing up. So I knew I wanted to find that and help put that on a screen somewhere. While I was researching Harley, of course, I was devouring the comics, became kind of obsessed with them. At some point, I stopped even reading just Harley comics because I just was really enjoying the comics. So that sort of rabbit hole led me to the Birds of Prey comics. And it seemed like a good platform for a female ensemble.
A harlequin's role is to serve. It's nothing without a master. No one gives two shits who we are beyond that.
First and foremost, I wanted to do an R-rated film. And I think audiences are just really responding to being surprised. I think this movie does that. Birds of Prey is surprising and it's fun and it's told from Harley's point of view. So you've got a very unreliable narrator giving terrible advice and an inaccurate account of events quite often. Very fun, I think, for people to get a slice of Harley's point of view and Harley's world. And the DNA of the film kind of reflects Harley's personality.
What are you talking about for me, will you?
I've really enjoyed watching the women in particular walk out of it. And they just all seem a little more pumped up than usual. Like come at me world. It's fun. I think you get that feeling of like, oh wow, I can do shit.
Hell yeah.
Exactly. I was so pumped after seeing that movie. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna see it again before the movie theaters close.
Well, what do you think, McKenzie? What do you think about what Margot was saying there?
I mean, yeah, I completely agree with it because I think about like growing up, the times in which I saw a woman be really, really awesome are the movies that stuck with me so deeply growing up, because Charlie's Angels movies were on constant repeat. I love that she said that because I still watch those at least like 5 times a year, if not more. Like I am obsessed. I just got the 4K of the physical media nerds.
That's awesome.
Boy, she's beautiful. 4K Charlie's Angels is the greatest thing in the world. Yeah, formative for both my just like perception of womanhood and also my sexuality. Like, you know, I'm lesbian, and so growing up, you're like, wow, why am I obsessed with this girl who kicks men in the face? I don't know why. And then it all connects when you turn about 18. And then, you know, Kill Bill was huge for me in high school, and like Kill Bill was, I was like, that was the first time I'd ever seen a woman with a sword just murder 90 people in a matter of 10 minutes, and I was like, I'm obsessed with this. And high school was also where I started getting into DC comics and falling in love with the female characters of those comics. I mean, obviously, you know, Catwoman's iconic, Harley's iconic, Poison Ivy. I'm dying for a Gotham City Sirens movie because Margot is like, please let me kiss Poison Ivy. And I'm like, Margot, yes, I'm behind you 100%.
Karen Gillan wants to play Ivy.
Just get somebody in.
That is greenlit. Let's start production immediately.
Barbara Gordon was always my favorite the OG Batgirl. She was always like my number one fave character. And I was getting into comics and DC around the time they were doing one of their many refreshes where they were like, yeah, it's the new 52. We're gonna do whatever. And so
the annual refresh, yeah.
And so it was kind of great for me because then I was like, cool, I can dive in on like issue 1 of Batgirl or issue 1 of Harley Quinn. And so I don't know, yeah, this was definitely like a time period in my life where I was just glomming onto characters like this because I think DC, I'm a DC over Marvel person, which and it's less that it's more I like DC and I have no opinions about Marvel, and I think that kind of Excuse, I feel like I hear a bunch of haunches going up across the world listening to it.
I don't know. Is that really that?
It's just they haven't
controversial?
executed a live action very well.
Better, yeah, and like, but I've always liked the characters of DC more, and I've always liked the women of DC much more, and so. Yeah, as soon as I knew there was a Harley Quinn movie coming out, I was like, cool, I'm seated opening weekend. And I was also, it was either this or Emma was the last movie I saw before shutdown. I can't remember which one exactly, because Emma also came out in like March, April. But yeah, I also probably saw this before lockdown. I can't remember which movie, but it was definitely, I saw this in theaters, and it was just like, it was everything I dreamed of.
That must have been great.
I was like, no notes. This is everything I ever wanted. It was just like a movie about like women, and I even think about some of those scenes I was writing in my notes a lot, like the scenes where it's just like her and Cassandra in the apartment, like that. You've never seen that in other types of comic book movies because they want to just keep moving to the action. But I think this movie balances the action with the characters so well, and we're like, we get these great moments of people just talking. And I kind of love how normal Harley's life feels. Like she has an apartment and she goes to the grocery store. It kind of reminds me of some of my favorite recent Star Wars have all been about the normal people. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's 100%. Sorry to interrupt, but like Andy and I were talking about this, I think in the Discord, right? Where we're talking about there's a Matt Fraction run on Hawkeye. Sorry, Marvel. But like, it's amazing because you get to see like his superintendent and like his neighbors and stuff. And it's like, and I was like, oh, wow, what if they did that for the series? Which of course they didn't. They didn't do that because that would be.
They teased that they were going to. Like it seemed like from the commercials, they could have gone in that direction.
They definitely pulled from the Fraction run. My fiance does love that run of Hawkeye, so I am aware
of that. It's so good. I mean, I'm not even a big Hawkeye
from the series. Like the dog, like there was a lot of things from that Fraction series I feel like that were pulled into the Hawkeye series, but yeah.
But they just had a sort of, and it'd be like government cheese, the normal Marvel stuff that's not like Loki or into the more interesting ones. But I think that's super interesting, and it's also interesting that you were a fan of the comics before, because I personally do like DC Comics, but I'm not as well versed as even some people on the panel, really. But have been kind of catching up in the same way that I basically started catching back up with movies when I couldn't tour. That I've been going back and checking all of them out, and I was super fascinated at the time. So there's two DC movies that I really like, and we've now covered both of them because we're doing Birds of Prey now. The other one is the Suicide Squad.
Those are the only two I've ever seen.
It's only, honestly, man, so far.
Yeah, we get it.
I've seen Batman versus Superman in small.
We don't watch any Snyder movies over here.
No. I was at somebody's house, and they were all like, we were all drinking at their house, and they had Batman versus Superman. All drinking. No, they had it on in the background like during a party, and I was like, I don't think this party's not for me.
That's the correct move. Go to a different party that has better movies for sure. But what I was actually driving at is that it's interesting to me that to have a character brought. A relatively obscure character, because people that knew the Batman animated series, which was brilliant and beautiful and wonderful, Harley Quinn was if you watched that show, you knew from that character, but people like normies did not know who Harley Quinn was. So it took the really bad Suicide Squad movie and her playing that role to bring it to attention. But then, it was all like sex pot, big male gaze. So what's so interesting about this is she managed to take a character that's been put into the popular consciousness, redefine it completely to be nuanced and interesting and like an anti-hero, and sort of like, no, you get an idea of like who she actually is. And then it's hard to describe because the Suicide Squad, which with a much bigger budget and much more energy and momentum behind it, cemented that she managed to take a character that was already defined by popular culture just a couple years earlier and totally redo it and do it in such a way that was interesting and cool and stuck.
I feel like she's more independent now. This is a good
like balance of where normies are on this, because there was a minute there in like 2016 or 2017 when it was like the most white trash people that I knew.
Dressed up as Joker and Harley from that movie.
And it was girls that are clearly like in like an abusive relationship, and like the guy they're with,
right?
They would get like tattoos. They're like
crappy tattoo shop energy. I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
sure.
And then so I feel like this movie definitely balanced out. You don't really see that anymore. Now Harley Quinn's kind of more like a fleshed out character, and like the people that you know that probably can't even read. but still get that tattoo like misspelled or whatever. Like they're not as hyped on
the gummo crowd, sure.
Yeah.
But again, we mentioned Barbie. You don't get a Barbie. You don't get Margot with that kind of sway to be able to pull off something as big as Barbie without this, for sure.
She's good at persuasion, I tell you that.
Well, I mean, and they're both Warner Brothers, like she both times, right? She's pitching Warner Brothers as her main.
Now she's gonna make a Sims movie.
The impossible mission of pulling that movie off and having it be as smart and like unique of a take as it is something that we covered that on that episode. We don't need to redo it, but I think it's notable because she redefined the character, and after basically the character not being done a service by that abortion, peace and love of that first movie.
No peace and love on my end.
No peace, no love. So I think it's worth mentioning. And again, that's a kind of a more long-winded version of what I usually. But also, it's mentioning this movie is funny and awesome, and it feels like 90 minutes. So why does this feel like 90 minutes? When it's like it's more than that? And there's movies where it's like, dude, this seems like it's 5 hours long. And like
I will say though, like maybe some of that is the COVID thing, because like this movie might be like, I feel like 1 hour and 55 minutes is long for pre-COVID, but not long for post-COVID. You know what I mean? Like, because I feel like people really in the last couple of years have taken their time with expanding stories out to like 2.5 hours again.
Well, in like three hours, it used to be like that was like, oh my god, I can't believe it's that long. What is this, Fanny and Alexander? Which I'm watching now, by the way.
But now so many people were working from home, so they had time to watch The Good Shepherd and fucking Goodfellas and all these
all the good
movies.
So
Batman,
Good Burger. We eat this, all the good ones. Where's that 3 hour cut?
The good, anyway. The bad, the ugly.
Exactly.
What do you guys think about like the first movie? The first movie she pitched, like
Good Burger. I said that's great.
The first movie that she pitched as her own thing was I, Tonya, which I didn't realize that was the first movie that her production company.
Yeah,
did.
She was the pride of an Oscar for that one. Oof.
Yeah,
that's
movie
a really
was
good movie.
Good. But
I
remember watching it at the time and being like, oh, Margot Robbie is kind of like the center of this. But I didn't realize at the time that it was like something that she had pitched and worked on. And like this was her first big outing with her new production company, which her production company, she decided to make a production company drunk at a premiere, like one of the premiere parties for Wolf of Wall Street. She and like two of the assistant directors.
She's probably like, people are gonna remember me from one scene only, which I'm completely nude from the front, so I'm gonna try to be taken seriously and produce, act, do it all, baby.
So they were just drunk at this like premiere party or whatever, and they were like, we should have our own. Which I feel like 90% of the we should have our own blah blah drunk conversation. They never go anywhere.
And the rest of them ends up looking exactly like this. No, I think that's amazing because if you think about like the over sexualization of Margot Robbie as a actress, because she is a fantastic actress. Like it basically starts with that.
Yeah,
right?
My uncle's like, I can't take her seriously because ever since she did Wolf of Wall Street, I just picture her as like Sharon Stone type, and I'm like, what? I'm like,
well, shit, the same crap happened with Sharon Stone.
Yeah. I'm like, but Sharon Stone doesn't have the talent.
I'm sorry, Quick and the Dead. Hello.
No, that's a great film, but like,
it's just weird that Margot Robbie's like, sure, first now she's trans, but now she's too pretty to like be taken seriously as an actress, so they still see her as like Naomi from Wolf of Wall Street. And I'm like, guys, she's producing, she's creating good movies. Yeah, she had 2 flops, I get it, but like she's trying to really put herself out there.
Kind of like the speech from Barbie. We're like, oh,
you can't be too pretty. Yeah,
but not,
But like it's just I will always defend her, like, because clearly she's pro-union. She tries to do different things that I couldn't even imagine doing.
Release the Snyder cut of Good
She does her own stunts. Like most of those fight scenes she does like 95% of her own stunts, and I'm like,
the choreography in this is so freaking awesome. Like
some of the best fight scenes too in the DC.
Which the crazy thing is the second unit director was the guy who did John Wick. Like,
yeah, that's crazy.
Which explains a lot for those fight scenes.
Yeah, truly.
I don't know, because if you look, there's like a bunch of second unit directors, and he's just like one name of like 14. So like I don't know how much he brought to it, but man, it's they did take their time with those fight scenes, and I think that's great because
he's like,
what
if they kill Harley Quinn's dog, and they're like, no, well, we're gonna let the dog live.
Or
hyena in this case.
When I was watching, I was like, oh my god, if they kill the fucking hyena, I mean, Harley has done a lot for those dogs, for her babies. Okay, I just think it's so funny that she's like, I named him Bruce after that hunky Wayne guy, and then you think about Harley's holiday in Batman the Animated Series, and she meets Bruce Wayne for the first time after getting out of Arkham, and she's like, there's something about that shit, and she literally covers his face, and she's like, oh, you're Bruce Wayne. I'm like, you're covering you can't distinguish.
But it's also
Batman?
like
she's so funny.
She's, to put it bluntly, neurodivergent. Like, it's the nice way we can put it, right? And so, of course, she's not gonna. That's I mean, like, so I mean, I think that's hilarious, and that's in character.
But she also goes back to a lot of her days as a psychiatrist, so she's able to psychoanalyze. She's
how cool is that in here? Where like she's like tied up, right?
Yeah,
and she basically just eviscerates Black Mask, like.
She voted for Bernie because she thought it'd be fun.
That feels like a very I love her. Like, by the way, I do have a degree line because I feel like I always think that with Poison Ivy as well. Like, Pamela Isley is a full ass master's degree botanist, and she's also alongside Harley one of the more sexualized comic book characters probably ever. And I always love that. Like, you just she's a doctor, guys. Like, stop being that's why I would love to see a Margot Robbie produced take on Poison Ivy. I want to see a Poison Ivy that isn't thought of for male consumption, and I was talking about this with my friends about Love Lies Bleeding. I loved that movie, and I loved going to it knowing there was no apologies for present company, but no thought of would a man like this? There was just no thought put into would a guy enjoy this? And I feel that way about this too. She just wanted to make something fun and exciting for everyone, and there's not that alternative motive behind it. She just gets to be. And I would love Poison Ivy in this universe. I'm dying for a Gotham City Siren sequel that will never happen, but
I had my own, someone said this a while before the movie came out, and I agree too. They're like, if this movie doesn't end with her and Cass going home, because where are they staying? We don't know where they're staying, and you see a woman from the back, and she's like, Red, we're home. That could have been a good lead on to a Poison Ivy Harley movie. I was like, oh god damn.
Sure, but I mean, they weren't like supporting this was the redheaded stepchild. If we're gonna talk about Poison Ivy, might as well bring redheads into it. That it was not considered this was just we have tried everything and none of it seems to be working. Sure, get this. Yeah, sounds great. Let's try this. Let's give this a shot. Get someone who's done one movie, and it's some Chinese movie that no one has seen.
Screenplay who's only one of the screenplay.
She done two?
People.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first Kathy Yan that directed this was
which I still need to see that. I still haven't seen that.
Yeah,
movie. Has anyone on the panel seen it?
I want to see it now too. Now that I've seen clips from it for this, but
cool.
But also the now they actually have the
Freddy Got Figured is on the Criterion channel right now, by the way, which blows my mind, Stevie. I have to point that out. Sorry, Forrest.
But no, the screenwriter too. Now is actually helping James Gunn actually plot out the rest of the DC extended universe.
So I have faith. I have faith. Unlike these Snyder fanboys, they're like, "Oh my god, he's gonna ruin it." I'm like, "No,
I mean
they know what they're doing."
I'm someone that does not really like superhero movies, and Guardians of the Galaxy was fucking awesome.
Guardians of the Galaxy rocks. The Suicide Squad rocks. The Peacemaker show is genius as well.
I can't wait for season 2.
But it's tough because they're good because they're so opposite of what the DC extended universe was doing with everything else, right? Yeah, and people don't they don't seem to get the message. No, people like that. People don't want the same crap served up to them over and over again.
No, I mean that's why people got tired of the Marvel movies because they were pretty much doing the same thing over and over again. They were just remaking Iron Man for the most part.
And they even Ant-Man, which was the one that's they kind of got it with Ant-Man, and then they managed to screw that up with the third one where it's okay, this is horrendous. First of all, some of the worst CGI I've seen in any movie ever.
Oh my god, yeah.
Until the Flash came out.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I feel like DCEU's biggest issue, which this is not an original thought, but it's been chasing Marvel. Marvel set this precedent. They felt they needed to fill.
That's just DC's personality.
Yeah, and to me, the best DC movies in the last years are this and the Batman. Totally opposite ends of the spectrum, but not even doing what the DCEU is doing. I kind of wish DC was just and even Joker, which I haven't seen yet, but I know was very successful. Like they're all kind of their own standalone outside the DCU things, and they're the most successful. Kind of. So,
they're thinking of doing a thing called Elseworld, where they, I mean, DC,
J. Andrew Elseworld, yes.
There we go. DC should really be like, okay, we're gonna have the mainstream, DC universe. We're gonna have, these little like offshoots like Joker, whatever,
Reeves,
like
the Robbie, like let them just do what they want with the like. I just feel like. I don't know why that's not easy to be like, oh, when we just let people do whatever, it's more successful. I guess I'll not ever do that. It's just so irritating.
Yeah, I was thinking that the entire time.
The hair kind of does go right down to, you're right.
Oh my gosh.
By the way, you know that actress is Jussie Smollett's sister?
Yes. Also, she was Michelle's best friend, Denise, on Full House.
And she was in Eve's Bayou, which is brilliant. And she's like a teeny tiny child and acting her face off. And I love her.
Yeah, they're supposed to do a Black Canary show with the Lovecraft Country creators because she was in that, but they
the hair matches perfectly. That is crazy. Wow, I didn't know.
That's so
in the arm.
Wow.
Yeah.
By the way, podcast listeners are like, "What the hell are they talking about?" It's a visual gag.
They're not anything
For those
right
who are
now,
watching,
but in the future they will be.
Thanks for the clarification. I appreciate that. Is that how that works? Yeah, like so again, going back to how this movie exists, they were willing to take a chance on anything.
Yeah.
Right? It was like, okay, yeah, let's give it a shot. How much money? Sure. Okay, fine. And
I like how their version of trying anything is just, why don't we try getting a woman director in there?
Yeah. Why don't we make a good movie?
Let's let a broad do it. Give it to a broad. Make it a movie about broads, and they're fighting.
And so many boys were like, no way. And I'm like, the amount of time
I guess I'm just built different because I was like,
yeah,
let's go.
Here's the thing. Real men like Harley Quinn. So all you Snyder fanboys, you little teenage boys, real men like the female leads in the DC. Just saying.
And also,
that's how you get pussy.
And also guys that just got out of jail and have like a domestic violence charge, but not one scene of this movie.
But they only like the David Ayer movie. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now the what's nice too is that you had that was very big nod to the Jimmy Palmiotti Amanda Conner stuff, which I think is probably some of the best Harley Quinn comics out there, and it's nice to see like it actually get representation. Like the outfits from the movie, some of them came directly from Amanda Conner's designs, which is great.
Yeah,
which is the look of this movie is incredible.
I've met them before; they're very nice.
The big the production design. Like think about like the Funhouse fight, right?
Oh my god! Yes.
Like how could first of all, it's an amazing choreographed scene, but just like the look of everything that's happening and the fact, she changes her roller skates somehow and then it's noticed by one of the characters. Like, when did she have time to change? Like
I bet they were like, hey, before we get like an error continuity on like IMDb, let's address the issue.
Right.
I don't have the roller skates, but I got the boots.
But I love it because it totally fit the logic. Oh, nice. Very nice. Yeah. It fit the logic of the scene and and that crazy production design. It's so like all the colors are so bright and like jarring and it's great. It's almost a throwback to the old Adam West Batman to a certain degree, right? And which is awesome.
Some people were like, obviously people were like, it needs more Snyder. And I'm like, no, this is Harley's world.
Okay, Zack Snyder using one of your alts.
Things are gritty, but yet colorful at the same time. So the color palette of this movie is pretty fantastic. And the fact that this didn't get any like production or costume design nominations at anything, really, it's kind of upsetting because someone did a concept art of the old school Harley look with these overalls where it's red and black, which is what Forrest did that photo of. So now you can actually get people to make that specific cosplay because a lot of people are like, well, I want to, the gold is cute and all, but I like the black and red overall with this. And so
was this the Nomadland year? I feel like it was the Nomadland year, right?
I think so.
You're right.
Yeah, what was the big power player for production? I'm gonna look this up in real time while I'm talking.
I think it was.
Yeah. So production design, Mank. I mean, okay, like
we love our grays.
Also, too, I like the fact that Harley Quinn basically said ACAB. I love her fun gun.
Yes.
The fun gun's amazing.
Eggs. Beanbag
with
chairs, confetti.
Renee, an
glitter.
only good cop is one that quits. Like, let's go, Renee, my queen.
Yeah.
I do love Rosie Perez and as Renee.
She's so good at
I don't think,
this.
I don't think that role would have worked with anybody besides Rosie Perez.
No.
Yeah.
Like, she's so she's classic at it. She's like in Pineapple Express. She's also like she's the opposite of this cop, but she's like the dirty cop that gets one over on fucking.
I haven't seen that in so long.
Oh really? She's like the cop that she's sitting in the hole and they like run over her. With the,
okay. Oh right, okay. Sure.
No offense, but this movie also portrays like every man in this, maybe except for Victor Zsasz a little bit, as like incompetent. Like the cops overlooking, Renee not, they're just ignoring her. Like, yeah, whatever. He's a rich. It's almost as if these cops were already bought out by Roman Sionis by the fact they're like, yeah, whatever. It's not drugs.
Well, they say it in there. They say his name, the Sionis
is on every
Sionis name is on the museums and the schools. It's like you don't want to go after that kind of person. And I like the characterization of like her boss is like the guy that stole her big case from her. Like the one thing that he's been able to do is take credit over her because she's kind of like. I'm not like unhinged, but she's one of those detectives that's so in it, kind of that like kind of everything else goes by the wayside, right? Like, so she's not really paying attention to like press and like taking credit. He's the one guy that's like, oh, I can just say I did this, and then everyone will just clap.
Yeah, which is what he did at the end of the movie too.
He does it twice.
So I was so obsessed with finding out why it wasn't nominated for production design, cinematography, and costume design. By the way, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom was what won makeup and costume design that year. Which is like, okay, I guess that was a movie that happened, right? But
I can't remember if I think that's one of the ones I saw that year.
But I had remembered the funhouse scene because I did not forget like how awesome that is. But I had somehow totally forgotten the ACAB fun gun rampage riot at the police station. And remember when this came out too?
Yeah.
Right? That's like, first of all, it's not like that's a new thing. What the cops are. But like, I remember.
Voted for Bernie. She voted for Bernie. She voted for her fellow Brooklyn man. Like, what I'm saying? Like, she's a leftist. And they even pointed that out in the Suicide Squad where she's like, where the guy's like, you are very anti-American. We love that about you. She's like, oh, cool.
but
partner,
like it's go ahead, McKenzie. No, please.
Well, my partner pointed out, she's like, I wonder if like they feel more comfortable having her express these because she's a villain technically. So like, she's not Steve Rogers walking in over and being like, I hate cops, by the way. Like it makes sense if Harley does because she's a villain, even though there's people with leftist politics who would be like, yeah, go girl. Like
she's a loose cannon because she's a little off, right?
I love how distinct all the fights and even action sequences are. Like they all feel so unique and interesting. Like even the chase through the market that has a bunch of fun visual gags in it. There's like two parts to the the cop showdown. There's the initial one where it's fabulous and slow-mo and crazy, but then there's that great rain scene. The rain, they're all, and you can see that it is Margot doing all these stunts, and then it goes into the back room, and then and then the fun house. You have like so many different sets in just one fun house, so everyone's having a different fight on a different.
It's all happening like interconnected, like it's all joined.
Funny.
Yeah,
I think
so
it's
unique.
Funny.
Yeah.
I think it's funny when the guys are shooting at, Cass and Harley, and they're like, keep the kid alive. I'm like, then why are you shooting at her? Again, all the men in this movie are incompetent.
And then
we call that doing the Israel.
Oh, heyo. No, but like there's the lot. It's very smartly done with what they have. Right, that's the thing I like the best about it, and you get hold on, you get in a situation where you see her get over her head too, because she's not really the best at doing this. She's just running around like half the time without a plan.
She's Domino. She's like the DC's Domino. She just has the power of luck at this point. That's what I think.
Right. Well, there's such cool acts like when she after they escape from the from the cop place. What is it? What do you call a cop place?
Like
the precinct.
The evidence room.
Cop shop.
Cop place coming this fall on Paramount Plus.
It's called Dunkin' Donuts around here.
Is that the spinoff from The Good Place?
Right, exactly. The cop place, exactly. It was a weird creative decision, but they decided to go with it. No, but you see that like you see like the person chasing her, and I was like, wow, the chick looks like
Frida Kahlo looking motherfucker.
Exactly. Where it's like, because you look here like, huh? And then it's like, yeah, that's what this, like, you see like her like dossiers, right? Her internal dossiers of like, and all like the type of grievances and stuff. Like that's done so well, and it's so smart, and it's so like funny because when you're reading that, because the first thing when I saw it the first time, I was like, wow, that woman kind of looks like, and then I was like, amazing.
Yeah,
so like,
I like the fact that like it's kind of what you said about Harley Quinn as a character being a little bit like neurodivergent. Like she has not kept tabs on what she's done to who, right? Like there's just,
at all.
So by just getting drunk and doing the cathartic thing rather than the smart thing and just kind of blowing up the chemical plant and showing everybody like, oh, like I'm single now, like and I like that she just updated her Facebook stat or her relationship status because it's like such a good corny cop line. But I like that the entire thing is like she doesn't have a plan from the beginning because she doesn't even know who's out to get her, and it's like, oh, everybody does not like you. Like you have wronged everybody in Gotham over this last amount of time.
No one would dare. And you know what's so like I understand the argument where a lot of people are like, well, there should have been a Joker Harley movie to set this up, even though the narration in the beginning worked. I'm like, no, we don't need it.
No,
she illustrated what happened, like their history and all that stuff. And we I'm wondering why that house.
First of all, then we'd have to see more of Jared Leto. So you see the problem.
I mean, we can get Bill Skarsgård now since The Crow.
But it's like every time a new Spider-Man just has to redo the story we all already know that someone dies and with great power comes great. We all have to see it and there's I think versions of them that are better than others. Like I'm a sucker for the Raimi films. I do love those. Like of course I like that version, but like
I got so sad.
Also,
as a kid
we
when
know
Uncle Ben died in the Sam Raimi version. I was like, Uncle Ben.
It's like Bruce Wayne too. Like, how many times do we need to see that? Like, we come to a Batman movie knowing they got shot in the alley and the pearls fell on the ground and Joe Cool ran away. Like, I think it's like, same. Well, you don't need a Joker Harley movie.
Yeah, as much as
what their relationship is like.
As much as I love David Mazzucchelli, I do not need to see his artwork redone again on the big screen. Same thing with Steve Ditko.
We talked about that in, I can't remember what it was, but we talked about how like so many Spider-Man movies, like he's always in high school. Like he wasn't in high school that long in the comics, man.
No,
like
about a year.
Jesus Christ,
like 1963.
Yeah, and everyone's still in the cop place. Okay, the cop place. Yeah.
Another thing I like though in the beginning with Harley.
Well, hold on, Kristina, if you don't mind, just for a moment, I think we should explore that. We should explore that a little bit. That like, I think it's a weaker movie if you show the Joker.
Yeah.
And I think it's against the point of the whole movie because the whole thing is
it was an accident that they didn't show the Joker because they did invite Jared Leto to be kind of. To do the Joker thing, and then he was like, "Oh, I'm busy. I'm methoding somewhere else now."
I'm bothering someone else.
They did have a stand-in. They did have a stand-in.
Yeah,
where you could see like
from the
Joker
back.
throwing out his.
Who did a better job? No less.
Well, I mean, but like,
okay.
it's so unimportant. It's not important.
Yeah, that doesn't even warrant a snap correction. It's literally just if you show the Joker as a recognized figure, like in this movie, it is against the point of the movie. Because the point of the movie is that, like, well, his presence is felt even when he's not there, and that, like, obviously, she has to deal with a reconfigured world where, like it or not, like the reputation of like this psychopath that is something that has protected her and made a lot of people sort of back off, and then so that's why suddenly everyone's out to get her, and so like. But it isn't because like it's like centering the Joker on that would be the worst possible thing you could do because the whole point is that he's not there. So he shouldn't be there.
I love that beginning though. She changes up the tattoo. She cuts her hair. She's picking out. She gets Brucey. Like it's a whole thing.
Right. By the way, great hyena work in here. Best hyena in a movie I've seen.
It's weird to like bring this up as like an example of what this kind of is. But like I think about this sometimes with like Russia and like Putin. Like there's this thing about like whether every single person in the world, right, is trying to drain the money from you. Like like oligarchs or whatever. You have all these different crime bosses all throughout this country that are trying to like drain the fucking money from you, or you have one guy that offers you protection and like stability, but he's the biggest fucking scumbag in the world, and it's like, which one of those do you want to take? And in this, they remove her kind of giant scumbag, and they're like, all right, well now everybody's trying to be like a bloodsucker pretty much in this situation, like go for it. Like
it's a balkanized threat. You had like one thing before, and now there's like 20. No, and it's again, it's better. It's better as a part of a narrative, like in the background, because again, the point is like, what is she doing with her life now? And like you kind of see it. It's in that really long involved title that somebody decided to. By the way, sentence long movie titles are
I'm fine with it. But
They added that.
It's a bold aesthetic decision, is what I was going to say.
Well, it was called Just Birds of Prey originally, and then people didn't go and see it in the first couple weeks, and then so they were like, "Oh, we need like a recognized character," so they added the subtitle 2 weeks after the initial release of the movie.
And then COVID happened and shut down. Like,
I think it is so weird because like the Bob Marley movie also just had this where it was originally One Love, and then in production they changed it to like Bob Marley One Love, and I was like,
One Love by Bob
yeah, I was like,
Marley,
who
though.
needs that? You see the trailer, you know it's Bob Marley, y'all. The other day I was sitting in Love Lies Bleeding, the trailer for the new Amy Winehouse trailer they played, probably one of the most recognizable singers.
Sure.
How do you not know who that is? Man behind me after the trailer ended turned to his daughter and said, "You know who that was?" And I was like, how are you a grown man?
Why are you parents not teaching your kids about good music?
But he's like an older guy. He was a daughter of like a 18-year-old. But I thought like maybe the like wide public does need that. Maybe they need to change it to Amy Winehouse : Back to Black, so people know like maybe
Amy Winehouse, One Love.
Yeah, well, and so yeah, like, it makes sense to me that they felt they had to add Harley Quinn to the title.
Yeah.
It makes sense to me that they felt like they needed to appeal to certain people.
So as an artist, like I find that kind of mindset of like, oh, let's cater to the lowest common denominator, like people that like how do you dress yourself in the morning? That kind of person. I find that repulsive, but I get it. When they're trying to make a major multinational, hit on your hands, you need to do whatever you can to, whatever dumb thing. And we've talked in the past about movies that are great that have like are misleading or bad titles. Sorcerer, Edge of Tomorrow. These are movies where it's like, again, Friedkin should have known better, man. Like first of all, just call it Wages of Fear because that's was a movie.
He was kind of doing the Harley Quinn subtitle because he was trying to hint kind of like I don't know, like I really they were trying to hint a little bit that this was gonna be like a sequel to The Exorcist.
Well, exactly, and so then why did everyone think it was supernatural? I wonder why. I wonder why people would think that. Because you called it Sorcerer Nimnal.
So
anyway, R.I.P. Billy Friedkin. Thank you.
So what someone pointed out that the Joker like animation, like her picture where she's like thrown out, it kind of looks like Cesar Romero's Joker.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, "Oh, it looks just like Jared Leto." Like if it was Jared Leto Joker, there'd be a damage tattoo on his head.
It looked like Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah, I thought it looked more like the Mark Hamill Joker.
It actually was taken from the 1960s cartoon series, that particular Joker. So, it was a nice little poll there.
I love how Cassandra had no idea who the Joker was. Like that goes to show, like she's got priorities.
Well, and
she would be one of the people that needed that title. Apparently, I don't.
That kind of adds to like the whole thing about like I think this movie does a really good job expanding the world of like Gotham into being like a place that isn't just like like there's Batman and then
Joker.
There's the Joker and then there's fucking like there's too many. Number one,
there's daylight in Gotham in this movie. Like I've never seen that before.
Mad about that. I'm like, why are you mad? I mean, Gotham is daylight. Why are we mad about that now?
Well, it would be really funny though. Like daylight Gotham, everything's kind of like I don't know. There's like some crazy chases and stuff, but like it's not anything too crazy. And then the second it's nighttime, everyone's like, get inside.
I feel bad though. I mean, I'm so glad when I gotta be honest with you guys. When that egg sandwich went on the street, I did cry. I was like, God, man, I feel it. I know it.
Yeah, that was I was a little bit like just as someone that like I don't know isn't like really into this kind of stuff. Like,
really? No, please say it 17 more times. Thank you.
What sold it for me in the I think it's an interesting.
Back haven't heard it yet.
It's I liked the movie and I want to talk from a perspective of someone that isn't a big superhero guy. Like what sold it for me was the bacon, egg, and cheese thing because I was like, oh, that's something I relate to it.
You're like that looks delicious.
Yeah,
she's like, I know the stray on me
brought me into it, and then from then on, I was kind of sold on it. Like I it was a really
that
good,
went viral during COVID. So many people are like, you know what? I made some bread. Let's make a homemade egg and cheese sandwich.
They're never as good. They're never as good as the ones you get from like either like a really like greasy
bodega
or like your local deli. But
do you not remember the bodega discussions after this movie came out? Like there were like podcasts dedicated to discussing bodega sandwiches because of this film.
A lot of people were trying to recreate the actual sandwich too. I remember that. I'm like,
but there's also like at the same time like
there's nothing to it, guys.
It looks like I missed all of this, Andy.
Okay.
There was
Fair
like
enough.
at the same time there was like Jesus and Mero was on, and they kept like
Yeah, I know the Bodega Boys, but
Yeah.
but that's
People were talking about bodegas for a little while. They have those bodega cat Twitters. They're like, oh look, there's a cat and he's sitting on the eggs. That's how you know it's a good bodega.
if it gets shed upon, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. That's
Or I mean, Harley Quinn said the Armenian arm hair thing. I mean, that's a
right.
another time.
Well,
I love how there are people who do love Harley. Well, at first, like Doc, who obviously sold her out. Fuck Doc. We hate Doc here now.
I like that he's as like a Maoist adjacent kind of person ideologically. I like that she was sold out by her Taiwanese landlord. He's like, I'm from Taiwan and I'm a landlord. Yeah, Mao was right about this kind of guy. Like.
Also, okay, so can we talk about the diamond situation? Because it's kind of like,
the scene in the grocery store is incredible. I'm glad it was in the intro.
Yeah, accidentally. I'm like, no, she looks at it and just swallows it because she has nowhere else to put it. And I'm like, oh, that thing's huge. I can't even swallow my trazodone pills that are like 150 milligrams. I gotta split them in half. She could swallow that rock. Whew.
With no water.
Well, I mean, I think sometimes if you're in a scary situation like that, your body does impressive things.
Yeah,
if you're young, yeah. The car off their baby.
Yeah.
Right. Just open that throat right up.
I also like that Black
Like,
Canary kind
I
of
kept the diamond in my ass.
Is that the Emperor?
That would be a very different movie.
I kept the spice in my ass. Thank you. All right.
Yeah, Christopher Walken will be playing Cassandra Cain in the next version of that.
Yeah, I would watch that. This movie's
Snyder cut.
This movie's exactly the same, except Christopher Walken is Cassandra Cain. they're like, anyone see that little girl?
Fun fact. I don't know if you guys know this, but Ewan McGregor had an affair with Mary Elizabeth Winstead while they were doing Fargo and this film.
Excusable.
They're married.
Yeah, they're
married for a while.
Yeah, I'm like, and he's like, I'm like, he talked about his wife for 20 years for a long time, and I'm thinking to myself, maybe there's a chance for me and Cillian Murphy then. I don't know.
Even if I had a wife for 20 years, I would also leave my wife if I had a wife for
that's.
And she's so like Huntress is so like socially awkward. Like you could tell she just lived in Sicily and was raised by these two Italians. Like.
Well, it's a great. So I'm glad. First of all, that we've at the hour mark we finally invoke Huntress and Mary Elizabeth Winstead because she's really fantastic in this, and I love that. Like it can be such a serious, screwed up, trauma-induced story for her.
I don't have rage issues.
But then there's also like if everyone just crossbow killer. You're the crossbow killer. You're the crossbow. She's like, no, Huntress. Like, what? Like that's a recurring. But it really works because it's the kind of thing where it's like, oh yeah, you're not like you're a badass. You have a badass name, but you're not really that good at the branding part of it. And people just have, and so that's hilarious because like,
you know who I am.
The crossbow killer, yeah, exactly. It's so and like when she gets all pissed off about like what am I 12 bow and arrow like, she's like that's great, that's amazing, and I'm blown away that she's so awesome. She's fantastic in that season of Fargo as well. I think she's such a great actress, and it's surprising to me that she doesn't have a bigger career.
If I was Ewan McGregor, I would have said, it's not me, it's my brother.
Because that season of Fargo,
because they were twins. That's right.
Yeah. So
I think he won like a Golden Globe or Emmy for that.
Yeah, I mean,
and the Fargo show, like people keep hooking up too, because didn't what's her name?
People are hooking up on Fargo. No, Holly's doing some crazy shit over there.
Yeah, they had Kirsten Dunst and
Kirsten Dunst.
But they were already married, I think, when they did Fargo.
I thought they met on the show.
Oh, they might have.
Yeah, like that show makes people horny. I don't know what it
is. Horny for hold on, Kristina, McKenzie, as the lesbian on the panel, can you please opine about Mary Elizabeth Winstead, because I think we'd be remiss not to explore that further.
On Escape Hatch, formerly known as Doom Pod, they also call me like the lesbian. That's one of my qualities here.
To be fair, that is only one of your qualities, and we have many other lesbians that are part of our show. But anyway, that'd be funny.
Yeah, no, I wrote I've been on the Mary Elizabeth Transit Sky High. Oh my God, incredible movie, one of my favorites ever. And she plays, like the most beautiful girl the protagonist's ever seen, and you fall completely in love with her. And then there's a twist with her at the end. It's great, but she's amazing. I love how while I wish there were there was a little bit more depth, I think it's more of a time constraint in terms of deepening the characters that are outside of Harley. That's why I'm like, I want another movie so I can continue to lean into this. But I do love that all of them have a thing they're kind of overcoming and a thing of their past. Like Renee is overcoming alcoholism and she has this ex, and then Huntress has this trauma from her childhood.
She has not overcome alcoholism.
She's she's drunk when
and also
that's literally her superhero origin.
She has
in
her
comics.
she has her mission. But then Canary, you get this line about her mother died and she was the original Black Canary, and and then she's also trying to overcome this sort of weird enslavement almost that she has with Sionis. And so I like that they each kind of have a bad thing that happened to them and a thing they're doing, and so they feel just as important as Harley. While they're not as fleshed out as Harley, I still feel like I care about them because I see the journeys they're all taking individually and how it all they all come together in the end because of it.
They do a good job with the Renee Montoya character also, and having Ali Wong as her ex. And I like that. I like that they don't lean too hard into it. They're just oh, this is her ex, and then they kind of they bring that up as a thing. It's not
you don't need a Disney Plus prestige TV series about that.
Honestly,
it's fine. We got it in one.
I feel like Marvel would have probably given you that. Marvel would be oh look, two gay people. We're progressive here at Marvel. This movie kind of is just so organic, and you're this is an older detective with fucking alcoholism that probably most detectives, but this one's one that really cares about her job and loses out because of it. Classic Rosie Perez moment. I don't know.
If this movie had come out this year, oh my God, this movie's so woke. Black Canary's actually black. Wait, there's a Hispanic lesbian with an Asian woman. Oh my God. Seriously, I'm surprised no one.
Why can't we have a white canary?
Yeah, seriously, because in the comics she's a blonde and white or whatever. But I'm just thinking, this movie is a right winger's nightmare. And the fact that no one really has bitched about those aspects of the movie, it really goes to show that this movie was perfect for.
Do you want to go post about it on Truth Social and maybe see if you can get them all riled up?
There you go.
But
I'm sure there was that kind of feeling. It probably wasn't as loud, right? I feel like we're way more online than we were 4 years ago, even. And I love how queer the movie feels generally. Because also Harley, it's very slight, but they did the kind of Harley's bi in the opening with one of her exes being a girl. I remember
which kind of looked like Poison Ivy.
When I was on gay Twitter, that was all the rage. It was we got her. She's been queer in the comics for a while, but we were all yes. And then I also think, I this probably could be controversial, but I was reading online about it that because people were mad about it at the time. I don't know. I think that Zaz and Sionis are very queer coded. This obsession. It's very homoerotic. And I was looking up some interview where they asked Messina and McGregor, and they both were kinda, yeah, right. And then, but then people were mad. People were how dare you? And I'm look. There's so many other characters that feel queer, like Harley and Renee and how that I don't care if the villains are also queer code. I don't think it's an issue for me when the whole movie feels very queer, and they just
especially his ass. Oh my God,
it's such a fun. I think it's a funny homoeroticism between the two of them. Yeah,
McGregor gives off bisexual energy in that movie.
In a classic, almost noir kind of way, where you have one guy and then his sidekick, and his sidekick is clearly a little bit more into it than he is because
his male companion,
it's almost a really Peter Lorre kind of vibe, and it's exactly. That kind of sidekick is clearly more into it because the other guys, not because the other guy is less queer, but because the other guy is just so into himself that it's oh, I'm going to be theatrical. The other guy's I'm here to
Well, and it's Rope, like we talked about in Rope with Matt Baum, right? That kind of thing.
It's also kind of interesting how Sionis views Black Canary as well. It's he has a my little burr, he has it, and of course Victor's all jealous of that. And I'm trust me, I don't really think it's anything sexual, but whatever. He just wants someone else to worship him.
I think it's a power thing, because even in the other scene that I think is probably the most upsetting scene in the movie is when he makes that woman strip. That it's a very
about that one.
real scene, and it feels almost tonally off from the rest of the film because it feels very scary for a moment in a way that doesn't really for the whole.
I think it's good too. Like,
It shows
you
what he's
need to be
capable
scared
of.
of those
Yes,
villains because,
it
like, it's
makes you
fucking
more scared,
Victor
yeah.
Zsasz, who's like one of the most
A killer.
nasty-
Serial killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, like yes, and don't get me wrong, I have a great love for Victor Zsasz, especially his portrayal in Gotham. One of my favorite characters from that show.
Yeah,
But
it's that one. I forget the actor's name, but it's that one fellow.
yeah,
That guy's
he's
good.
great. He's
That
in
guy's
that,
great. He's ace as that kid.
yeah,
whatever his
he's
name is.
now Metamorpho in the James Gunn movies,
Right.
the upcoming Superman film. So I'm looking forward to that. But anyways, that's
NoHo Hank from Barry.
there we go.
Yeah, that
But yeah, he's and he's one of the scariest characters. He's like Hannibal Lecter of Batman comics.
Yeah.
And
He just likes killing people.
You
He'll
know,
kill anyone.
yeah,
Men,
and the
women,
Black
children.
Mask is also pretty intimidating too. Running around with that skull mask and stuff. So like, to
Superpower.
kind of
He has a skull mask.
take them down a couple notches like they did to kind of like, make them fit the tone of the film. They did need to actually reinforce that, like, no, these are scary people.
Scary people, right?
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
reason why everyone's scared of. And look, I guess it's time to talk about Ewan McGregor's performance here because he is, again, terrifying in that scene, but otherwise hamming it up, but in a good way, like in a way that like
That's
wouldn't
fun.
necessarily be outside the realm of fitting in with Burton's Batman or even like the Adam West series. It'd be understated there, but like he's clearly, first of all, he's good at it, and he's loving doing it, and that makes him a great villain on screen.
Ew.
He's hamming it up almost in like
I love it.
like a cokehead way, where like where someone's really like their energy is all over the place, but you can tell that it can turn in a second.
Yeah, it could go dark like
Like,
really easy.
like that's actually no. One scary scene in the beginning is when he gets the Keogh's family. He has them upside down. He's like, "Oh, we'll let the daughter go," and then she's like, "Thank you," and he's like, "That's stoppable. Never mind. Cut it off." Like I'm like.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting to me is like those scenes where he feels like especially scared because he is so goofy and funny and interesting to me, and I think it disarms you and you forget he's a threat, and then the scene again, like he cuts someone's face off, he makes that woman strip. That turn as an actor that he makes when he calls Harley a moron, like the poison dripping from his lips when he says that, it's just like, I don't know. It just, to me, illustrates how easy misogyny can be. Like you think you're disarmed by this goofy, fun guy, but it doesn't take long for him to switch into that mode that is so easy for men like him to access. And so I feel like that's, obviously one of the villains of the movie, I think, is misogyny. And the film is actually fighting against that. And that's why these men are the way they are in this movie. But
how do they do that with no horses?
Like
there it is, everybody. Andy World.
One of
Give
the
him a big
things
round of
that
applause.
works really well with that is that all of the grievances are like very slight things, right? Like the
Conan
thing he
espresso
actually-
machine, not espresso, like Conan
But, like,
espresso machine. But I voted for Bernie. That used to be my rave command.
You can tell that he calls it espresso. Like that's his.
Right. You can
like,
really hear
all
the
of
fingers in it.
All of the fucking grievances are just like. Really
I think one
small
of them was
things.
like she forgot to flush the toilet one time because I was like reading through them and I'm like, whoa, this is a long list of like the most minor inconveniences ever. It's so fun. Also, too, the scene where she claims she can't sing, but she did that Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend montage, which Ewan McGregor dances in it too, and he was in Moulin Rouge.
Moulin
where they did
Rouge.
that song. I was like, man, that song's never leaving him, huh?
But this is really a movie.
It's weird that happened twice.
Yes.
This is really a movie that's really made for you, huh, Kristina?
Oh yeah.
This-
It really she really was like, I'm gonna give this girl a choker.
I think his performance in this is another keystone to the movie, and again, for all the reasons McKenzie you articulated, and that he can at the snap of a finger suddenly oh no, this dude's terrifying.
Yeah, especially in that interrogation scene too with Harley.
Sure, we don't need we can outline all the individual scenes if you want, but I'm just talking generally that if we I think any. And I guess we can ostensibly call it an anti-hero, story that heroes and villains, right? Any protagonist is only as good as their antagonist. So if the antagonist is good and the protagonist is good, then you got something. And there is nuances and shades of gray to a lot of things, but ultimately it's no, this guy's a psychopath. This guy is the baddest of bad dudes that also happens to be charming in the way that psychopaths sometimes can be, and I think it's so well done, And he's really good at it. And I kind of wish there was more times that he would get to open up like that. Because it's
again, that's why I think there should be like a little mini series, maybe one season of like Roma Sino's trying to build his empire after getting kicked out of jail.
Oh, like how they're gonna do with the Penguin with Colin Farrell.
Because I mean,
which I'll totally watch that. This is my favorite part of that.
There's more than just the Joker and the Penguin. Like you can really build off of these characters from.
Wasn't that the whole idea with Gotham? I actually have never seen it, but isn't that the whole idea behind? Gotham?
Yeah. Gotham's like a prequel to it. It's like young Bruce Wayne just saw his parents get killed. Lieutenant Gordon is kind of watching out for him,
right?
And it's like you start seeing all the building blocks that lead him to becoming Batman. So, and they got like a proto version of all the villains, you got Scarecrow's dad, who's like torturing and gassing his son, and you can see where like all these people, what's her name, Tank Girl, Lori Petty shows up and plays a proto Harley Quinn, she kind of Tank Girl kind of was the proto Harley Quinn. About it.
Lori Petty, she voiced the electrical girl.
Naomi Watts also in Tank Girl as was it Jet Girl? Was the character's name, right?
Jet Girl.
I haven't seen. And Ice-T as one of the kangaroos. I remember that as well. That's Tank Girl. Everybody coming up next
Malcolm
week.
McDowell was the villain.
I saw the first couple of seasons of Gotham like a while ago, like when there was just nothing else to watch on Netflix for a little while. And
what a ringing endorsement.
No, I mean it was good. It felt kind of like the thing that they tried to do though with like afterwards with like Riverdale, you know what I mean? Like where it's like the adult, like an
CW
adult
baby
of like you know, like classic stories, but like in the kind of like a darker mode.
I'm not going to tell you it's good, but it's fun. Like if you like Batman, if you like the comics, this is something you'd enjoy. And if you don't, then don't watch it.
They were kind of annoying about they kept being like, oh, is the Joker gonna show up? Oh, is this guy the Joker?
Yeah,
no, this guy.
That was a little much. Also, the kid who played Bruce Wayne, like as an actor, that first season, he was terrible. Almost like and like as he got older, he like kind of matured, and actually as an actor kind of grew, and he was just fine at the end. I mean, I'm not going to say he was any good, but like
he'd improved.
Like the weakest point of the whole show is
A for effort, kid.
Honestly, like that's the toughest role right there. But like you have the guy playing Victor Zsasz just stealing every single scene. You have Jill Gomez shows up for a couple episodes, and she's always great. And
anyway, subscribe to Andy's podcast here all about this. Mackenzie, how do you feel about the whole extended universe of like the Gotham world? Do you think Birds of Prey does a pretty good job showing like a few aspects of that haven't been shown before?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it makes the world feel lived in. It makes it feel like more than just a few dark roads and tall buildings. Like it struck me when we watched Canary walk to her apartment, and it looks like a New York City, Lower West Side kind of place or like a Harlem where there's children and there's families and it just feels like a world. It feels like a real life world. And I was mentioning, like things like Andor, right? That like I'm not even a big Star Wars person, but like I'm interested in that because it says, okay, what if we take the Jedis away? What if we take Joker and Batman away? What are the real people who have to inhabit this world around them feel like? And while we're still with these special characters, right? It's not like we're seeing like the random people who live in Gotham. Like we're still with characters who are heroes, but it still feels like we're seeing more people that are on the outskirts of these stories. Like the real movie would be the Joker one where he's like, okay, I broke up with Harley Quinn and now I'm going to fight the Batman. That's what we normally see. But instead we're seeing, and like, maybe he'll see the explosion in one thing and be like, what happened over there? Anyway.
And then he'd be like,
incidental
Harley?
moments. Yeah.
But then he'd be like, he'd be wanting Harley back because she always kept shit together in their relationship.
And that's,
and we saw that in the animated series too, when her and Ivy went out on together. So it's like,
where he like runs for mayor eventually too. That's
he just needs his own Victor Zsasz.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We all need a little Zsasz in our life, don't we? No, I think you're right. I think that's why this hits different too. In the same way that like Guardians did, frankly, where it's like, these aren't the kind of stories that you're used to seeing. You're seeing these characters that like whatever, call them like C-listers or whatever you want, but like you're seeing a different aspect of things that isn't like the big knockdown, drag out. What I assume those Snyder movies are because I refuse to watch them. And I think that's again going back to like I wish that the Hawkeye series had have been more like the Fraction run, the graphic novel, in that way that there's room for those kinds of stories. That's like, yeah, this person is like a superhero, but they still have to deal with like, the plumbing's messed up or like whatever, like real life things that we all have to deal with.
It's also more compelling, I think, to me. How I feel like at this point, right, in the MCU, especially, the scale was so grand, and it was like every movie we're fighting a planet killer, and like the aliens and it's all this galactic warfare that we're in the middle of. But this is just like a diamond and some warlords, or like, or like, even I'm trying to think of another example, just like something that's more.
Ant-Man did the same thing in Marvel.
World. Yeah.
Like Ant-Man kept it really small in Marvel, again, until they screwed up and like, oh, let's introduce Kang to Ant-Man? Like, do you not remember like what this is supposed to be? This dude has like an ankle monitor, man. Like, what do you think you're doing here? Like, and it's not understanding the appeal of the characters, or just doing the thing where you kind of crowbar in.
Did you guys notice a certain Easter egg in the movie?
There was a few. Which one?
Well, I think Andy might know this one, but when Renee's about to like burn all her shit, she's in the hotel room, she's watching. There's a clip of Days of Our Lives with Arlene Sorkin as Calliope Jones dressed as a court jester, which inspired the Batman guys to like, oh, let's make a female companion for the Joker.
Oh, that inspired the character.
Yes. Without Arlene Sorkin, who also voiced it, R.I.P. There would not be a Harley Quinn without her. She set the blueprint.
I think didn't she show up in one of the Arrowverse things as Harley Quinn, but it was like a voice only cameo and you just see like the back of her head.
Yeah, she did.
The only one of the Arrowverse ones I've watched is Legends of Tomorrow, which I think is a brilliant show.
That show rocks.
Yeah, the Bulma episode was great.
And also great freaking very naturalistic pissing off the right wingers lesbian representation in that one as well.
I just think it's sweet that they did pay tribute in that way to Arlene Sorkin, because again, like, I think it was good, because I even asked my mom, like, Mom, do you remember this one character who would dress up as a court jester on Days of Our Lives? She's like, yeah. She has like an annoying high pitched voice. I'm like, that's Harley Quinn. That's the actress who voiced Harley Quinn in the first series. She's like, oh.
McKenzie, we did an episode on a movie called Solid Rock Trust where we had the director on, and the guy's been like second unit for like a lot of like big movies, like Marvel stuff, et cetera, et cetera. But for some reason we got on the topic of soap operas. I have no idea why, but we could not get out of it for the life of us. And the guy at one point was just like, well, you guys sure do know a lot about soap operas.
I don't know anything about soap operas.
Hey. Certain people on the show knew lots about soap operas.
I know what I'm saying. I was quiet. I was kind of quiet during that because I was like, I don't know anything about anything.
It did go on for quite a while, which was I don't remember if that's after party or if that was the main show. But
in my defense, we were talking about Wesley.
This isn't a prosecution.
There's no defense for.
Come on, Wesley Snipes showing up.
You will not be incarcerated for watching soap operas, Andy. It's okay. We've notified the authorities.
I'm talking Wesley Snipes here, people. Come on.
He's, Andy has a felony soap opera watching charges.
All right, let's get back on track here, people. That's enough. That's enough of that.
So I have this clip of that I wanted to talk about that I've been trying to bring into the conversation, but I was letting everyone else go. Is it
the episode of Hot Ones when Margot Robbie's like after the first wing, she's like, "Oh my god, it's so spicy."
Yeah.
Why would it be that?
I brought in Margot Robbie talking about how the wings are spicy.
Well, that was when she was doing Birds of Prey promo with the rest of the cast, and they were like, "This is fine." She's like, "Oh my god."
We can watch that in the after party if you want, if that's what you're hinting.
That sounds insane, but okay, sure. I mean, I don't know why you thought that's what it was, but
no. So I found
I guess it's logical, and yeah, all right.
I found a bunch of
Jesus Christ, play the clip.
Just like making of stuff, and this is so I found one of them. This might get us flagged, and I'm gonna take it off afterwards. But this is Margot Robbie learning how to do the roller skating.
At least they kept something from the comics.
So they actually like had a crew of roller skaters that like trained her to do roller skating for this, which is funny because like the movie before that she was doing fucking ice skating in I, Tonya. She learned how to do that too.
Well, it's the two different things, Forrest.
I know, but like she's learning skills. I feel like she's learning skills through her.
She's really good at what she does.
Danger. Danger.
In the New 52 comic, there's a roller derby Fight Club sort of situation. I love that comic. I just kept saying, you have to have roller derby. We have to have roller derby. So much speed when you're taking that energy transfer.
We worked on her taking the canary cry, getting into that movement, sound propelling her forward.
Yeah, move over, Tom Cruise. Exactly.
That
was awesome.
I was excited when I saw this scene. I was like, oh, just like in the comics.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, I that's the kind of method acting I like, as opposed to
I
whatever.
love
the hell
how she
Jared
called
Leto
her
was doing.
roller dummy when she, when she drops her unit on her and she's like,
Well, and yeah, I had an ex that did roller derby, and like, everything that woman was saying is like, totally true. Everything's very tight knit. Like it's very it's actually pretty interesting. Like I think that was there a documentary that came out like some time ago.
Yeah.
I know it.
Also, too,
yeah.
those are supposed to be her friends.
We'll get our top fact checkers on it.
Those are supposed to be her friends, yet they're like, oh, she's actually not broken up with Joker. She's going to find another man. I'm like, ooh. And then
what's more
drops those margaritas.
What's more roller derby friends than everybody kind of talking shit about you behind your back?
Yeah.
It's a tough community out there.
That was some hardcore Dazzler eraser who was like totally known for being roller disco back in the early 80s when she had her own solo series. So there we go.
There you go.
Dazzler.
Acknowledged. Dazzler.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that there's.
They should turn those roller derby skaters though, like into I'd watch like a reality TV show about fucking roller derby.
It feels like that have they not done that? It feels like that's a thing that
maybe
they would
they
have.
Yeah,
done.
it seems familiar.
I don't know. I don't have cable, so I
don't know. Whenever it happened, I just kept watching Rollerball.
All right, enough. So, like, I think that it's notable that she really thought hard about what Harley Quinn should be, including like again doing like was it New 52? She was saying she was looking. I was like, that's awesome. Like, it's awesome that she did all the research, as opposed to like, and I love the Raimi, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, but like Kirsten Dunst was like, I remember she's like, do I look like I read comics? She said in like the commentary of the DVD, I almost threw it out the window.
Yeah.
I was like, so first of all, I don't like you anymore. Secondly, like, come on, maybe you should think about your role and the fact that, first of all, cast wrong for the character, like completely wrong.
Oh wow.
But it made me
more of a Gwen Stacy.
Absolutely. It made me appreciate so much more that people like Ryan Reynolds and Margot Robbie, again, not that those movies should necessarily be equated, that like go deep into the source material to find out, okay, what do I want to show? What kind of story are we trying to get across? What kind of character are we trying to like define for people? And like being thoughtful about it instead of just like playing the ball where it lies, so to speak. Right? I mean, like,
it's even like
it's thoughtful.
the John Cena thing, right? Like he's gotten really into the Peacemaker thing, which I think DC is
who's like a total D-lister, right?
But like
it's a bisexual D-lister.
I think that DC has done a good job, kind of when they do a good job, right? Like the times that they do, it's when they have.
Yeah, let's not give them too much credit.
Yeah, it's someone.
Even a blind chicken finds a kernel of corn now and again.
But it's someone who's gotten extremely like into whatever their character is and is willing to. It's like kind of almost like an actor forward kind of thing, rather than like the more like abstract, I guess, ensembles that you can see in pretty much every other version of this.
Well, and it's character based, right? And I think that when these things work, it's because you care about the characters. Again, why do Guardians of the Galaxy? Why did that work? Because it's like a ragtag family of like freaks, nerds, and weirdos that all have like peccadillos.
And Bradley Cooper.
And Bradley Cooper in his finest role, yes.
Exactly.
But like again, one of the things that people didn't realize that they were missing is that like getting into what makes those characters interesting and fully rounded. And she did such a fantastic job with this, and then it was reinforced by the Suicide Squad with a much bigger budget. That again, people like, except for the Gummo out cast members that Forrest was talking about that live exclusively in bad tattoo parlors, like redefine the character in the popular imagination to the point that like now you have, okay, I guess Gaga's gonna be in the new Joker movie.
Oh my
I don't really want to get into
Lady
that
Gaga.
but like the fact that that's even in discussion is like, well, that shows you how mainstream the character
is. That everybody's favorite bird pop star? Gaga!
She's basically, someone said that Harley Quinn is the DC's Spider-Man, because there's so many different interpretations of Spider-Man out right now currently, like
Okay.
Marvel, animated. And I'm like, yeah, I see that. There's different. There's you got the Harley Quinn series with Kaylee Cuoco. You got Margot Robbie. Whenever
I forgot she does the voice of that. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. I forgot about that.
Yep.
I never saw Big Bang Theory, or rather, I never intentionally watched any of it.
Yeah, I saw A Simple Rules. Anyway,
I spent 3 weeks stuck in my fucking grandma's a couple of weeks ago. She watches Big Bang Theory every single night. That's her favorite thing to watch every single night. It was
That sounds like cruel and unusual punishment to me.
We'd
Yeah.
be streaming. And I had to stream downstairs because that's where the Wi-Fi was, and I would be hearing like canned laughter at things that weren't even funny, and I could tell they weren't funny from the other room.
From a distance.
There's no way a show about nerds, which my 93-year-old grandma can get the jokes. She's never seen any of those things.
Yeah, it's a show about smart people for dumb people, as opposed to It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which is a show about dumb people for smart people.
And another thing too was that Margot Robbie spent like a good almost 2 years playing Harley Quinn, because as soon as she was done filming Birds of Prey, she started doing the Suicide Squad. And so she was like, I have to take a break. It's kind of daunting playing Harley. And I'm like, oh.
So you'd be like Fade Rotha and be stuck in the Elvis voice.
Yeah. Well,
what's that kid's name? Butler, Austin Butler. Sorry.
If you guys remember the Actors on Actors episode with her and Cillian Murphy, she explained
my knife, Chip, and Shadow.
She explained that oh my god. I'm gonna be Conan.
Go ahead. Go. It's all you.
She explained how it's difficult for Australians because their palate is different from like an American. So like it took her a lot longer to build the muscles up to do the accent. And I remember when she did Wolf of Wall Street, she did that accent perfectly. And they're like, well, you got to tweak it a little bit to play Harley. And they're like, well, how she's, and her dialect coach was like, imagine you're at a nail salon.
Gotham accent,
What?
Gotham accent, yeah. Exactly.
Well, like imagine you're at a nail salon, you just got acrylics on. She's like, okay, and I'm not talking to you, I was talking to her, and I'm like, okay, that's how you do it. So I gotta remember that I'm at a nail salon with acrylics on, they still have to dry, and that's how she nailed the accent.
Got the physicality of it. Okay, sure. Now
you should try to make Renee do an American accent.
Coming this Friday,
McKenzie,
Friday we have Renee coming on. I want to see
at Hanging Rock.
Talking Australian classics, so we're gonna make her talk in an American accent.
McKenzie, one of our regulars, Renee, who runs the Night Shift podcast, she's Australian. That's why that would be relevant, and that actually might be hilarious. We should maybe do that.
Honestly, I think McGregor's American accent's kind of bad in this. Like shots on the house, like it's very round and weird.
Yeah, but it shows you his culture though. Like he's supposed to be a son.
It fits the character.
Yeah, he's somebody of money. He's got that transatlantic accent kind of, and so his weird accent works in that way.
You kind of forced my hand here.
It's almost like Hepburn-esque.
When he gets all excited though in the first couple of things, I just kept thinking about Duff Man, because he's like, "Oh yeah, shots on the house. Oh yeah." That's the thing that came through my mind. I was like,
also, I really want to go to that club because it looks so dope. Speaking of which, how do you spell mercenary?
Are you doing the? Oh, I was gonna say, are you doing a Wordle? What's okay? All right. You want to show off the cards? Here, we can show off the cards. All right, here she's got the cards, people. So that's,
and I got the last one too.
She's got the cards, people.
She's got the cards, people. I know. I did Alex Jones voice for that, but here we are. So, McKenzie, I mean, like just the general thoughtfulness of the character. And Margot Robbie's like very diligence in bringing it to the screen in this way. Any thoughts on that? Anything you'd like to comment on?
Not probably anything more that's already been said. I mean, it's just like you can feel the love in the character, and I think that's why it's so intoxicating to watch. And I think you feel it with Barbie. You feel like I think she, to me, as an actor and producer and just human being, seems like a very genuine and kind and intentional and empathetic person. And I think that makes her a great artist. And I think it shows up in her roles, and you can just tell when you watch this how much she has lived in this character and how much she has loved this character. And so, yeah, it's just, I think it's what makes people want to see her keep playing Harley, because it feels good to have a character be in such loving hands with an actor.
Yeah, it was weird when James Gunn was announced as like the head of DC or whatever. Everyone was like, all right, again, the Snyder folks are like, oh my God, no more Margot as Harley. We 10 years as go, and I'm like, oh my God, guys. Viola Davis has survived a universe change. Margot Robbie's definitely going to survive, because I mean, he took her, like James Gunn took her interpretation of Harley seriously in the Suicide Squad. Like he didn't want to change anything, just progress from what was already there.
Just like a bigger budget.
Just calm down. Calm down, people. It's not the last of Margot's.
Calm down, people. Settle down. Harley's gonna be fine, people.
Well, now that James Gunn's in charge, they're gonna get rid of Margot Robbie so fast.
Alex Jones as a pivot.
I'd rather give it to Jared Leto, but whatever.
It's Alex Jones say it. Release the Snyder Cut.
Damn it! Release the haircut.
They don't want you to see the Snyder Cut because of all the good things that are in it.
It's not. That's pretty good though. But we shouldn't be letting him anything fun because that dude sucks. But yeah. Anyway, since there's no way to pivot off of that, Letterboxd, of course, is a social media site for film lovers talk out with to each other about the films they love, maybe the films that they didn't love, maybe the films that they're still waiting for the cut to be released of that they made themselves, a fan cut. Who knows? Of course, all of this is best expressed succinctly. You got room for everybody. It's a bottom-up democracy. Not the Siskel's and Eberts of the world. Everyone gets to chime in. Everyone gets to have their say. Everyone gets to opine, if you will. And of course, all of this is collected every week by yours truly for this bit where we put them on screen and we react to them. These are the Letterboxd one-liners for Birds of Prey. Let's go. I was waiting for Joaquin Phoenix's Joker to turn up at the end. Take me back, Harley. I promise. I've changed. I'm a different person now.
Literally.
That would have been funny.
Yo, I would have loved that.
That would have been.
Or maybe Jack Nicholson.
Oh my God.
Get him out of retirement for that.
Take me back, Harley. I'm a different person now.
I've changed.
Now 100 years old.
that would be like
Return the Joker, folks.
I hear tell of him just sitting up. Like, you know what I do? I sit by my tree, and sometimes I fall asleep. So imagine that's what he comes out of retirement to do. That would be god tier.
He's like kidding me. He's like Harley. Without you, I got trapped in a time machine.
Look at how I've aged since you left, Harley.
I'm 27 years old.
I need you back. I don't know how to run the time machine.
All right. It's overbuilt now. Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn is single-handedly the best comic book film casting of all time. I agree.
Take that,
they
Henry
really thought
Cavill.
someone that was going to get real passionate about it. Like, from the jump.
Yeah.
Like the fact that she was reading comics that had nothing to do with Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
She just got stuck in like a rabbit hole and was like, I've read so many of these comics by now that I can now pitch my own movie.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
She did her own research.
I don't think I've ever read that much of anything.
I'm happy that Harley Quinn got rid of the toxic people in her life and made new friends.
Yes.
Aww.
Yeah.
It's the friends we made along the way.
Exactly.
Especially those friends who are probably going to arrest her again if she got into any trouble.
Well, now she doesn't work for the police anymore.
Yeah.
So that'd be a citizen. That'd be a citizen's arrest.
She had road rage at a bank, so that
I'm a sovereign citizen.
Not that far off from the question.
But I also really like that that it was like, oh well, Harley Quinn's too sociable to do like a standalone film. She has to have like a bunch of people that she makes friends with, and it's like, yeah, hell yeah.
Harley Quinn really is the it girl of the DCU.
She's the it girl.
Yeah.
Thanks. That's just an unimpeachable fact. That's all.
Jack Nicholson comes back and he's like, I hear you're the it girl.
I hear you're the it girl of the DC universe.
Take me back.
The real winner of this film is Harley Quinn finally getting to eat her sandwich at the end.
Yeah, I would have pissed. I would have been pissed. Number one, if the hyena was dead, and I also would have been pissed if you eat a sandwich at the end.
Found wandering around Chinatown.
Those both have been unacceptable endings for sure. They are my emotional support lesbians.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Retweet.
129 likes.
Very good. Bitches be like, I know a place, and then take you to an abandoned funhouse in order to sell you to Ewan McGregor.
I had a nickel for every time that's happened to me.
This happens all the time. It's constant.
Mm-hmm.
And you gotta stop swallowing every diamond you get your hands on.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, they look
Cut it out.
delicious.
It's enough. It's enough already.
Forbidden fruit.
Exactly. It tastes twice as sweet. Yes.
It just means I can get to those brownies again. The X-Lax brownies.
Birds of Prey. Here's a bunch of pretty women in cute clothes. Me. Oh shit. Birds of Prey. They kick ass. Oh fuck. Birds of Prey. They learn to trust and support each other. Oh god. Birds of Prey. There's neon lighting. Me. Stop. I'm already dead.
Oh my god, I can't believe I wrote that.
I had to look to make sure it wasn't you.
Incredible, incredible.
Fantastic.
And that artwork too in the corner.
Oh yeah, the custom art. This is my friend Louise. Huntress, please, I am on my knees begging you to be my girlfriend.
Oh my god, Coda, you wrote that?
Yes. Well, look. Hey. Moving on. The best part was them driving around a convertible with a hyena in the back seat.
Because that's how you do it.
Yeah.
2.5 stars.
Yeah, get out of here.
A dude wrote that.
It's like they're sublime or something.
Those are the Letterboxd one-liners for Birds of Prey. Please follow the show at Movie Night Extra at our Letterboxd HQ account. We're posting stories of all the great movies that we cover here, as well as additional content, things along those lines. Follow us on there if you use that platform. Grievance, this whole damn show. That's Forrest at Always Flacco, your host over there. He's on there and he's online. He's logging stuff. I saw you did a picnic at Hanging Rock already, so that's cool. I of course am at Conan Neutron. Normally I'd be pointing to my thing, but we decided to highlight a comment instead in mid-sentence. Huntress Fan Club President is what I am. Enough said. At Conan Neutron, doing the highbrow, the midbrow, the populist fare. Follow me along for the Criterion Challenge, as well as film school dropouts, if you dare. J. Andrew Elseworld, I see you over there. I'm hitchhiking apparently too. Paying is for dummies. You'd be a dummy if you liked weird stuff and didn't follow J. Andrew World because he's watching all the weird stuff. So you don't have to. And maybe so you can. I don't know. It is not for me to say really. But he's doing it either way. And follow him right about now too on Letterboxd. Harley down there voted for Bernie. Sometimes she'll even log into her Letterboxd account and you logged this one, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I logged this one like a while ago.
Yeah.
Sometimes she's even on the show to talk about it. Too soon. Long time coming for this one though, but she's on Letterboxd as well at Kristina. That's your old handle. McKenzie, my friend McKenzie Wilkes is you're on Letterboxd. You're the Austin Danger podcast, Criterion Connection. Those are your shows. We'll get into that in the plugs. At this point, we're only talking about Letterboxd. That's the only one allowed. At McKenzie Wilkes, which is your name, and that is what is your handle. So
Yes,
I appreciate that about you. Same thing as me. Let's hear from our sponsors and hit the plugs, huh?
Tonight's podcast is brought to you by Yebiga, a Balkan Rakia spirit plum brandy that brings Serbia to the American shores in an authentic and appreciative way. Care of Billy Gould, bassist for Faith No More, and Rakia Appreciator. Rakia is a traditional spirit enjoyed at weddings, funerals, and life events. However, more and more it's being enjoyed everywhere on a night out with friends or as a casual drink. Get a bottle today in liquor stores and bars across America. Go to yabiga.com to see where it's available near you.
All right. Elseworlds, take it away, please.
All right.
Plugs.
If you're watching us on YouTube, please do those YouTube things. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell. And of course, the big ask is watch the video at the end. That allows you to hear that great Conan Neutron song. That allows other movie fans to find our content, which we want to see happen.
I hear that happens, yes.
Yes. If you're on social media, we are too. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads, X.
Why are you calling it that?
I don't
Pets.com. Yeah.
Got a pets.com account.
If you call it that, I'm going to play X Gonna Give It to You next time, Andy. Okay?
Yeah. No, I
nuke the whole stream.
Twitter. I've been just, listing it twice.
It's the nuclear option, really, of the plugs. Yeah.
But yeah, no. Find us wherever you happen to, I forgot Instagram, didn't I? But
sure, I actually was not going to say it, but I was like, you did forget one of the biggest ones. Yes. But.
Yeah. Find wherever you happen to be on social media. I'm not going to push any of them on you because they're all garbage sites in their own way.
So please follow us on all these garbage sites. Thank you.
Find us on the garbage sites. Follow us.
Yeah.
But what's all garbage is our Discord. It's full of wonderful people and wonderful conversations. So you can actually, if you want to say hi to us over there, that you can do that as well. But either way, say hi to us on one of the social medias, and we will definitely answer back.
Christina is hosting these watch parties that are a lot of fun. If you not everyone can do it because of work hours and stuff like that, but I am a convert as someone that doesn't like watching movies on the computer.
It's fun.
Yeah, and then you can join in the conversation afterwards.
Absolutely.
We have a Patreon, so find us over on Patreon if you want to give us more money and just actually support us.
Yeah,
Let's get right to the meat of the matter. If you want to give us money, go to Patreon.
To support us, go over to Patreon. We really do, need your help to kind of keep the show running. And
everyone's broke.
Yeah, especially me. I haven't made money all month.
BROKE broke.
But that allows you to have access.
What a pivot! What a professional move that was. Yeah. Anyway,
but here's what it gets for you. You get to have access.
Oh, great! I'm ready.
Which is where we get to let our hair down. Although mine already is. And
it's melding with Black Canaries. Yeah, it's amazing.
Exactly. But if you want more of this kind of stuff, where we kind of
I don't know why you would, but
yeah, we have plenty of bonus content that you have access to, and we are actually doing a after party right after this show.
He said authoritatively with no one paying attention. Yeah, sure.
Now I'm gonna do another cosplay.
I called it the. Wait, I had a good name for it. Hold on.
Which McKenzie is you're welcome to join us, but it's not a
requirement. Yeah, if you need to go watch,
you'll fulfill your contract just to leave if you want.
Yeah,
call it the Harley Quinn open season after party.
Yeah, fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Maybe I'll ask McKenzie about Lisa Frankenstein, which I'm very about. Not concerned. I'm concerned about it.
I'm concerned about this movie.
I'm deeply concerned about Lisa Frankenstein.
Looking into it.
It keeps me up at night when I'm thinking of Lisa Frankenstein.
That is the perfect.
It's no little Fremen, but that's pretty good.
That is the perfect Elon Musk thing. There's like a Lisa Frankenstein, and underneath this thing, he's like concerned, looking into it.
But I'm just picturing like a Lisa Frank painting of Frankenstein, and that's what I get whenever I hear that. But Conan, you're over there.
That was more on topic than most things. I'll give it to you.
Conan, you're over there. You're fronting your show, Product Reversal behind you there.
It's literally behind
people,
me. Yeah.
Curious what it says behind your head. That's what it says. Protonic Reversal.
People are talking about it more and more, especially right now when you just said it.
Yes. Which is a great music interview show if you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Print it real. Print it real.
Exactly. It depends on where my head is, how much you can read. Yeah, I guess I'll rescue on this one. Kid Kong Go Powers, Gun Club, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, The Cramps. He's on Thursday, so that's him coming up for a while.
So excited about that.
You mean Goo Goo Muck?
Yes, indeed, I do. Yeah. So. Big episode. Should be a good one. The Ralph Spide episode, which, of course, he's Joel Biafra's band leader from Dead Kennedys and Freak Accident and Victim's Family, just went up to the regular feeds. So, but, of course, $1 a month at patreon.com/Protonic Reversal gets those episodes to you sooner. Bernie Sanders model, lots of people, just advance access. And that is the show that I do on Thursdays. That is my show. 10 years in 3 weeks. What is that in podcast years? 90? Right?
Yes.
It's a lot.
Yes.
10 years? Jesus, how
long?
It's more than that. It's like 150.
it's like it's a lot. It's a lot. So I don't yet. There's a bunch of really cool stuff coming. I'll just say that.
I mean,
big things coming.
Much cooler than what you've already had. So just what you've just had. So like that's something.
Tune in.
Yes.
Tune in.
And of course, if you enjoy the music of the show, Conan is the one who does all the music for the show, and he has his own band called Conan, Neutron, and the Secret Friends, which you can get albums right at neutronfriends.bandcamp.com. Adult Prom being the newest one, split LP with Lung, which Lung is fantastic too. So you're not just getting half a CD, you're getting a whole CD. That's really great.
You said none. How much you guys got? None.
I was kind of perplexed by that as well, but I was gonna let it.
I was like,
yeah. Yeah, we just got back from a West Coast tour with McCluskey, LA, San Francisco, etc. I met Maddie actually from the comment section. That's a bad thing to call someone Maddie from the comment section. Jesus Christ, much more than that.
Mod.
Maddie the mod. There we go.
I feel like that brings us back to like the Gawker days. Like, yo, this is Maddie from the comment section.
Exactly. This is all released. So we got the shows with Brainiac, Part Chimp, Arc Ray Noise Quintet, Body Futures, Cult of Lip, Madison, Milwaukee, Cincinnati, Louisville, Chicago, and of course Caterwaul.
Louisville.
The 4-day festival that I run with my label guy that is about 60 days away. 60, not 16, thankfully. Yes.
Yeah.
Buy my music, I'm broke too. Thank you.
Yeah, you can actually go there right on Bandcamp. Neutron Friends on Bandcamp.com.
In the comments section, new band name.
There you go. Maddie and the mods.
Yo, Conan, you over there on Broke Tonic Reversal?
Look. let's not get into that.
But yeah, Neutron Friends on Bandcamp.com. Go there, buy all of the albums.
But buy early and buy often. Thank you.
But yeah, you can get everything for one good price. I don't know what that is off the top of my head. I should write that down.
I
really should.
Think global, buy local. On your local IP address, go to.
Yeah, records, t-shirts, all that stuff. I'll probably post something about some of the packages and stuff coming up soon. If you're following me on social media, you probably won't see it because they want you to pay for that. But thank you. What a plug section.
Yes. And we got the dates, and I guess we go on to Kristina.
You guess?
Yes. No, I was just. I guess she's next. She's here.
Yep.
It's patreon.com/cosmopolitans.
Forrest, what episode is this? Like, how many episodes of this? Like, it's like 200 something, right?
210.
And this is like, I mean, he started doing the plugs, pretty early
on.
Yeah.
Can you believe this,
Somebody
McKenzie?
else was, and I'm like, I'm the worst person to be doing it, and you can see why I said that.
FYI, I'm totally available to fill in.
It's so efficient, dude. It's so efficient when she does it. Like, you should be scared, Andy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be great once we have money to pay Kristina, and then she gets to come on and do plugs for work. You're like, $5 a plug.
It's a street value. Yeah.
Yes, pure uncut plugs. But yeah, Kristina's over there on Twitch. Y'all should definitely be checking her out.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We cosplaying over here.
Yeah. Anything coming up?
That's right, girl. Give him nothing. Give him nothing.
Cosplaying over here.
We're gonna be going over P. I think what we're gonna be doing tomorrow is going over P. Diddler and all that situation, and the fact that Israel probably attacked the DEI bridge. So that's gonna be fun.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So lots of like hard hitting.
Yo, P. Diddy, I need your expert opinion on this. P. Diddy's like kind of Israeli coded, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. And of course, if you want to support that, go to patreon.com.
If you want to support that.
If you want to support P. Diddy in Israel.
How about Kristina? Kristina needs your support.
If you want to support P. Diddy doing the right of return and going back to Israel, just to escape the charges.
Someone tipped him off to escape the country, and I'm wondering who the fuck that was. Suge Knight was right, and yeah, I shouldn't really be giving Suge Knight credit considering Suge Knight's in prison for murder. So yeah.
Yeah,
he's probably not listening. I mean, I don't know.
He's probably
like, oh wow, how terrible.
He's like, when I'm out of here, movie night extravaganza. You're first.
Yeah, he's gonna hang Forrest out a window like he did Vanilla Ice.
It goes to like a solo shot, a one shot of him in the cell with just a single tear.
Yeah, and he's doing like the fucking crunches on the floor in the cell. He's like,
music playing in the background.
All right, come on. Let's tighten this up. Let's go.
Yeah, McKenzie is over there. Has a couple podcasts of her own.
Why is she still hanging out as anybody's guest? But
but she is. We're thankful for that.
Yes, I'm on 2 podcasts, Austin Danger Podcast, which started as a bit, and we've committed to the bit for over 100 episodes, where we watch films connected to Austin Powers, which basically just gives us an excuse to watch a bunch of great movies that are connected by like random crew members, but also Mike Myers.
That is right up my alley because I love Austin Powers.
That was your first cosplay, wasn't it?
All right, that was my first cosplay ever. Was Austin Powers. I was 5 years old. It was cute. It was cute.
I love it. Well, we love Austin too, and our next episode is going to be Mission Impossible, I believe, as people are hearing this, and it's my first watch of the movie ever, so I've never seen Mission Impossible.
Very Mission Impossible coded.
You just had a great episode on Sideways, which because we just did 2 hours.
Yeah, we were like lined up with Alexander Payne. Yeah, and we have a back catalog of so many. Just kind of our kind of core is like 90s early aughts studio comedies, but we go to many other places, and so it's a fun pod. And kind of on the other flip side of type of film, I do a podcast about the Criterion Collection called the Criterion Connection. We just did Akira Kurosawa's High and Low, and next we'll be doing Bong Joon-ho's Parasite. So a lot of big episodes coming up, but another kind of backlog, more upper crust movies compared to some of the stuff we watch on Austin Pod, but basically anywhere you go, you'll get a need met based on what kind of films you like. So come hang out. We're at Austin Danger Pod and at Criterion Connection pretty much everywhere. So
McKenzie, did you see that they were selling the cryogenic chamber from Austin Powers for like
yes
for like
it's one of our ongoing bits that we report on all Austin news that occurs in the world of Austin Powers, and it's usually us finding eBay things like that and just talking about it. So, we're up to date on all Austin Powers news at all times.
This is the only Austin Powers news I've heard lately, but I did hear about it.
We've been thinking about doing Austin Powers 4, but I think like Mike Myers is
always that
play Austin, but like he ain't too old to play Dr. Evil, but whatever.
Yeah. Me and Kev have some ideas for what Austin Powers 4 could be, and one day we will reveal them on a very special episode.
We should have you guys on to do Austin Powers one day, and then
yeah.
Has anyone ever done that? Any crossover? Have you done crossover?
We haven't talked to Austin anybody else.
Maybe I would Austin Powers.
I'd be down for that because Kev's awesome.
Yeah, we could see Kristina squeeze into her old costume.
Yeah.
I have all 3 Austin Power movies on VHS. I have the
VHS.
Wow. I just bought the Blu-ray of all 3 of them together in case. I've been collecting.
Restoration.
Yes, I need 4K Austin Powers.
When I was a kid, we used to go like this library fair because we would go up to visit my grandpa's house in Maine. There's this library fair, and they'd always sell like VHS tapes, and like there was a VHS at the house. So I'd buy like a bunch of them, and then one year they had all 3 Austin Powers. They had like multiple copies of them.
Oh man, copies still available. Both those shows are good. I subscribe to them. So
thank you.
If you like this show, you might like those shows too. And it's interesting that you got both sides. You got the more populous fare and the highbrow, and I of course enjoy both because I'm an aesthete.
Start taking this cosplay off.
But McKenzie, do you have final thoughts about this movie? About anything we didn't talk about? I feel like we talked about a lot of it, but
sure did.
Yeah, I can't think of a thing that wasn't mentioned. I mean, we kind of talked about the Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend moment is incredible. I say a lot on ADP. I love a big swing. I love audacious filmmaking, and I love moments like that like you could say weren't necessary, but I loved them because they just pulls us further into Harley's psyche and her mind and her heart. It's great. And yeah, I mean, the heart, the humor, the action, the love, the excitement, it all just combines. I think Kathy Yon should get so much more credit for really building a cohesive, incredible film. I have a friend named Josh whose review was like, all the best stuff of this was just scooped again for the Suicide Squad. And like, I feel like this really informed, at least tonally, how they handled Harley in that movie. And Kathy Yon really did that, her and Margot together. And so I just think this is a great job. And I hope she gets to do more. Like, I really hope we get to see her eye on something, comic book or not, sometime soon.
All right, Kristina, final thoughts.
Whenever I'm bored and I'm like dog sitting somewheres and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna put on Birds of Prey. This is like my comfort movie. This is the movie I watch whenever I have nothing else to watch, or if I should be watching a movie from this podcast, I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna watch Birds of Prey again.
You're like, until the end of the world's how long? I'm going back to Birds of Prey.
Yes, exactly. It's so much fun. It's very cohesive. The costume set, like, thank God we have another Harley cosplay to do besides that god awful Suicide Squad one. And it really goes to show that without Birds of Prey, there would be no Barbie. So y'all better be thanking Margot Robbie and take her and know this. That Sims movie is gonna fucking rock.
Yeah.
It better be in Simlish.
They should have gotten the past life Celine Song to do it.
Wish and
Celine Song Sims.
Yeah, well, she did it with she did the one where it's
yeah,
it's the play. Yeah,
I'm not stripping. I'm just changing into another.
Oh,
cosplay.
that's right. You reference that so much. I can't believe you referenced it that much. It is true that was a thing that happened. That was a peak COVID Celine Song thing. I forgot about.
Yeah, Celine Song did the it's the Seagulls play. But Andy, final thoughts.
It's so nice to actually see a good comic book movie because Lord knows I've seen them all. Most of them are good. I mean, how many times do I have to watch Steel? The answer is zero. 0 times. 0 times a watch.
Most of the things you do, the answer is you don't have to be doing.
But I do it anyway. You can find it on my letterbox. But anyways, it's so great to see actually a good comic book movie, and the fact that they to make a good comic book movie, you don't need to make it dark and gritty like every single fucking Snyder wannabe tries to do. You make it good and you make it based on the comic book, and this is truly like I've invoked it before, the Palmiotti Amanda Conner run, like the iconic they didn't even create the characters, but they kind of made like the most iconic run of Harley Quinn, and I think this is a good addendum to that. So it's so great to actually see, as opposed to what I usually watch.
Wow, a startling moment of self-awareness. Okay.
All right, Conan.
Folks do not give credit to how funny this is. Kind of reinforcing Andy's point that like all the bright colors. I love the unreliable narration. At the heart of it's a great story about autonomy, codependence, and overcoming toxic relationships. But it also doesn't forget that its first job is to entertain. And in a world where so many films try so hard to be important, it's kind of nice to see something that it's just an entertaining story. And especially for what was going on with the DCU at the time, and still technically, it's just a breath of fresh air. I think Ewan McGregor's amazing in this.
Your girlfriend's really amazing in this.
I was just about to say Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I'm a fan. She's a consistently good player. And I mean, credit where credit's due, man. Margot Robbie's she's a treasure, right? And this is amazing that she pulled this off. And you can't see the thoughtfulness and what she was doing with it. Then I don't even know what to tell you. A shout out to Rosa Perez too. Great character work. That could have been like a one-note character, and it isn't. Worth it. It would have been nice to see some stuff more with the team, but I think it's very well balanced. And for the Funhouse fight scene alone, this is an all-timer as far as I'm concerned. Very deeply entertaining movie, especially considering pre the Suicide Squad, the DCU is mostly dismal, confused, and desperate. And I would have loved to have seen this in the theater. Still would like to, actually. Maybe with this panel.
It was desperate enough that they finally let a woman take a shot at me.
That's what it took, right? Exactly. Jesus Christ.
In a world full of Zack Schneider fans.
I'm glad we finally got to do it too, because we were supposed to do this about a year ago. So, I'm super excited that we got to bring McKenzie in. McKenzie, thank you so much for doing the show with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we're gonna be in the after party in a few minutes.
And maybe I'll get another egg sandwich. Who knows?
So join us for the. Just don't use DoorDash. You'll get canceled on Twitter.
Yeah.